Welcome to McArthur Live. I'm your host, Tim Bartz.
And I'm Sarah Davis.
Welcome in everybody. And I don't know if you guys, if you're watching the live stream off YouTube, then we did we always do a pre-stream thing there, just kind of let people get in here and everything before we get started. And those are our deliveries of a different Mavericks over the last probably year. People have come in and picked up their Mavericks or sent us pictures and such, and those are just Mavericks. So and that's not all of them. I cut it down to 2 minutes, but there you go. So don't forget, we are recording this as a podcast, so you can listen to this in your favorite podcasting streaming platform. Of course, I like Spotify, but we have like 15 different places we're on there. Just look for Ford Video Guy. You can find that podcast. And
except iPhone, Apple.
Except for Apple. Yeah. So yeah. And don't forget to, you can come on over to YouTube. So a couple different ways for you to check these out. So I don't really have any images tonight. But sometimes we do, so you never know. So you might want to check it out on our YouTube channel. So either way, a couple different ways for you to view that. And that's it for that. So, yeah. So what's up? How'd things go this week? I feel weird just kind of introducing it, but what all transpired in the last weekend? What all did you do?
Weekend, what did we do? We went to the pumpkin patch. I had my vendor sale. That went pretty well at the zoo. We cleaned out my shed. Lebo has had this house for 7 years before we got married, and he's been building stuff up in that shed. Stuff from the previous owners was still in it. We have completely emptied it out because we were celebrating my son's birthday party in our garage, which needed to be cleaned as well. So we did a complete overhaul. We plan to have a garage sale at some point.
There you go. So my weekend entailed hanging out with the grandson. So by the way, if you're a grandparent out there and there's markers around, don't fall asleep. Don't take a nap. So he had a little fun drawing. It was all he was making me Batman is what he was doing, is what he said. And so he had he's drawing on my face with the permanent marker. By the way, I found something that takes it off really well. So
if you ever need help,
I got you covered. So so we've had some things at home that wiped it right off. So I was like a little nervous on that one.
Yeah.
Like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's like, he told me, he's like, you wrote on my arm. I really hope this comes off. I use sometimes my arm's showing the videos. And he's like, well, what about your face?
I'm like, what? Anyway. Oh boy.
I wasn't there.
So
I was cleaning out my garage.
Yeah. And I got my haircut too. So there you go. So
I took Ozzy over for a haircut yesterday. And Will. It was exciting.
There you go.
Until like 9:30. I have to take our dog over to Junction City to get him groomed because my cousin is a groomer and she doesn't expect me to take him over there, but it's cheaper. It's half the price to drive him over there, have her groom him. I get to hang out with my nephew and my sister potentially, and she was able to cut his hair. Usually if she gets off in time, she can color my hair.
There you go.
So
all right. Well, let's get into this. Don't forget, let's talk about membership for a second. So we do have membership on our channel.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead.
If you'd like to become a member, it's right there. It's that join button. It'll show you all the goodies that you get when you join with us, or all the perks that you get. If you're an iPhone user, you have to do things differently. You have to go to your web browser, hit the big A and little a, and then request desktop browser. And at that point, you should be able to see it. But our members get a lot of perks. They get some member-only videos that you can find under the membership and community tab. We use it more as a blogging rather than just videos. So we post videos from our travels. We have videos. He does a lot walk each week, and we do a member live each week. We bounce ideas off of members, and really have fun chatting with everyone.
Yep, when we go on trips, so we do exclusive content. Actually, I was watching a couple of those that we did at the auto show and said, you know what, these would actually make pretty good videos for YouTube that I think would get some attention of some things that are my opinion and stuff. We might start throwing those in there to get some get some content out there. So did try to doing some things on YouTube. So we'll see. We did a video yesterday. Speaking of videos coming out, we did one yesterday on things that you won't get on your 2024 F-150, talking about some of the packages that have been removed and some other things. Something we're going to talk about here as part of the Is It True as well was included in that video. And just some other things that people may not realize, especially different cab configurations now available and bed links that are no longer available. So from 23 to 24. So anyway, we'll try to do more of those types of videos for you guys and keep you guys updated on some of that news. And then also Lightning videos every day this week. We'll get through all 5 of them. Yesterday was the Pro version. Today, XLT. Tomorrow we'll have the Flash. Then of course Thursday Lariat, and Friday we'll end it with the Platinum. And for those that are looking to do an order, we're taking Lightning orders and we're discounting below MSRP. So Pro version $1,000 off of MSRP. XLT and Flash $2,000 off, Lariat $3,000 off, Platinum $4,000 off MSRP. So that's below MSRP. Plus the incentives are yours to do. I mean, if incentives are available. So just like right now, we actually did a special on 2023 F-150 Lightning that we were like several $1,000s below MSRP. And we were also still, there's rebates. So we talked about those last week. So you get that on top of that. Like right now, we have a Lightning on our website. Probably after this live stream, it'll be gone. Where we have it priced, what you repriced it was $8,000 off MSRP.
I think so.
And
it was a big jump.
And then with the rebates, you're $7,500 off of that. So we have that one that's it's going on sale. I think tomorrow, or actually, it's probably right now on our website, $15,000 off MSRP. Including the rebates, and that's not including your tax credit that you'd get when you do your taxes as well. So that is crazy how that all works. So anyway, so we're going to be doing those videos and highlighting those, and we're going to be really wanting to get some of those orders anyway. So all right, let's see what else. So you have those videos going live this week. We'll also cut out, of course, the scheduling notes videos for you guys and everything else. So we got those all coming up. So all right. And don't forget, we have merch in our merch shop. Link is in the description. Links in the description. It's always specials going on. I always forget about them. But anyway.
If you haven't checked out the merch in a while, keep an eye out. We might have something new coming.
Yep. So
I might start designing a couple more for you. Because I've gotten into designing stuff. So I might design you a few more to add into there. Add some new stuff.
Maybe some cool slogans and sayings too that we can put on there. So, all right. So more than like before, it was just, Ford Video Guy, merch and stuff. We might throw in some Bronco Maverick stuff as well, because there's not a lot of Maverick shirts and stuff out there. So
I mean,
if we could make some,
the dark truck scene, but I could definitely come up with something a little bit
and
less line.
Now that we're doing something with our my Maverick and a graphic that we could throw in there and have some fun sayings. I got a couple ideas. We'll bounce off and have some.
Yeah.
So I like the shirt that someone made for me. We might use that as an inspiration for some other stuff. So anyway, so be looking for some stuff. Hopefully we can have some fun. Not only just Ford Video Guy stuff, but Maverick, Bronco, Lightning stuff as well. So all right. Anyway, all right. Members. Speaking of members, earlier, have you highlighted some members? Do some member shout outs.
Yeah, I'm just doing the shout outs. So
just go down the list here. Let's
one that I want to shout out. Where is he? Jay Monja or Jay
Jimin. I don't know.
Genoa. Oh, JM Genoa. Maybe. Never got the hang of what that's supposed to say or how I should pronounce that. Maybe drop it below. But anyways, he is flying right now. He is up in the air in a plane and watching with us.
Wow.
So he's one of our members. Let's see. We also have Gino Abbings that says "Go Bolts." One of our members from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. debate lover. Hey y'all, bless Ford's heart for taking their time to get me my all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid that I haven't ordered yet. Yep. Yeah, I want one of those.
Do we have one? No, I don't know. I thought we had one.
Plug-in, all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid.
Oh, well, I initially thought Escape all along when I heard that. I'm like, we might have an Escape. Escape plug-in
I
all-wheel
don't want an
drive.
Escape. I want a Maverick.
Mm.
Clearance roller. All these flags and only 10 thumbs up. Come on, people. We have Mav Everlasting going to have over 1,000 miles on a nice Maverick in the first week easily.
He's coming to pick us up.
He is. Those coming on the 13th, I will actually be able to be here. We changed our plans.
There you go.
Mapsim. Looking forward to any new office changes Tim has made. Won't be able to stay long. We'll watch what I miss later.
Yeah, still working on getting the inside of the office taken care of. They're working on it. They're getting them printed.
Okay.
Hopefully soon.
I had gotten an update from you. We have, let's see. Who else we got? Brian Foster. He is in Orange County, Southern California. He's the one that gave me the good dealer list. He helps moderate that on Maverick Truck Club. Let's see. We have Barry Brown saying, hey, guys.
His Maverick should be here soon, I think. I think he's got one.
And then Vols was asking if Elizabeth changed her username. She's seen her in the 1 year club, but don't remember seeing the name. She shortened it. So in case you are thinking, oh, I don't recognize that one.
Yep.
She is in the 1 year club. Michael Orth is asking if his is previewing. I actually have not looked at the orders today.
I did.
You did? We'll have to see.
So
just because it's previewing doesn't mean it'll get scheduled.
No, but I did look. I did the breakdown and I looked at it, and I actually not supposed to say how many allocations we have, but we do have unscheduled. We have 259 unscheduled orders. 211 of those are hybrid. 48 are EcoBoost, right? And about all those are carryovers. And of those, it looks like almost all the EcoBoosts, if it continues the way they're previewing, could go ahead and they could get scheduled. So we'd have 0 EcoBoost orders left.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. Here we go. We have Vols 44. Saw updates to the commodities list. Will you cover major changes for October this evening or next week?
Sorry, our photographer needs a code. Give me a second.
He's sitting right over there.
There we go. Okay. All right. So updates to the commodity list. Will you cover major changes? Yeah, and we'll talk about people post those and their actual confidential things. They're not supposed to be showing those. We've kind of talked about that before, but yeah, and we got to also look at that as, don't forget, that's based on the one column is based on those unscheduled orders that are in their percentages, whereas the left column is based on what their capacity is.
They posted it in Maverick Truck Club.
Yeah, they do. And that's
where I get my information.
Yep. And so I can cover some of that. We can talk about some of that, but actually go through on all the different vehicles during the scheduling information. We'll talk about that because really they're doing pretty good on Maverick. I mean, I know a lot of people wait for the XLs, and that's just because there's just so many people that ordered an XL. But they'll get theirs this year. So they just got to be patient.
All right. Branson. Yes, I did get your email actually right before the live stream started. I was looking for a good dealer moment and I ran across your email, so I haven't had a chance to answer you yet. But I'm sure Alex will get you squared away as soon as possible.
All right.
So
Who else is in here? Members.
Ridgeview,
Ridgeview, of course.
of course. I haven't seen Niles.
Yeah. He'll pop in, I'm sure.
Yeah, at some point. Maybe he popped in already.
It's dark in Salina, Kansas now, so it's not like he can mow any longer. So
Well, and he won't need to mow very much longer.
nope. We mowed hopefully for our last time last
Mhm.
weekend. Last week, I guess.
Oh, Ridgeview is saying, in fact, here in Maine, we play a game. How long till do we hold off before we have to turn on the heat? They're planning to go after the first of the year.
I wouldn't go that long.
Well, especially where they live.
Yeah.
In Maine. We actually use space heaters. Lebo is does not like the cold, does not handle the cold very well. So we use space heaters. We have 3. Two stay in the garage. We'll say that. All right. We want to move on?
Yeah. All right. So you want to kick that one off? All right. So moving on. Do you have a good dealer moment ready for us?
I do. I went back into my log.
All right.
First off, have we done Downs Ford?
I don't think so.
Okay, here we go. We have from Bart. Hi, Tim and Sarah. I just received my Maverick XLT with 4K towing, FX4, and luxury package after 13 months of waiting. My order was with Downs Ford in Toms River, New Jersey. They honored my X plan with no dealer mock-ups. Downs had my private offer and the Smart Vincent. All in all, they were easy to work with, but the 13-month wait was painful. Downs Ford is a good dealer, and I would recommend them. Thanks for your weekly videos. I would have been lost without them.
There we go. Pretty awesome. So there are a lot of good dealers all over the place. So find your good local dealer. Hopefully they're local to you, and then order with them.
Yes.
So, all right. So we're going to go through scheduling information here. And when I do this, we're going to go over some of the orders and such. I will let you know that information and some things that I can share. And then also if we do have some updates for some balance up for 23, as well as what's going on for 24 and stuff like that. So we'll go through all that as well. So let's jump into that. All right. So got to move over to this camera here. All right. So get into scheduling information. I like to start off with the this up here. So let's move up and cover this real quick. So there we go. So little definitions of what we're talking about here for those of you that are kind of new is that we're going to go over scheduling information. That means if you have an order placed in your dealer's order bank. So the order bank is where the dealership places all their orders, whether it be a stock or retail order. Not all models only have retail orders because a lot of times, just like for us, we've already, they're able to produce more than what they might have a custom retail order for. Now, if we have a new model like Bronco, we've seen Lightning, Maverick, those was new, so people didn't have those out there. So we saw at the beginning when that first launches all retail orders and nothing else. But once those get fulfilled and they get caught up, then we're going to start seeing stock orders. So retail order is a customer placed order. So in the dealership, we always, hey, that's a retail order or that's a stock order. So we've learned that stuff. Stock orders are basically what dealerships place in the order bank to fulfill their allocations to help fill up their lots. We have 100 new cars out there in a lot right now, and a lot of F-150s and Explorers, Expeditions, and such for stock. When we don't have any retail orders, or like we get to a point where we had retail orders, but now this next month we get allocations, and maybe we only have 1 or 2 retail orders, but we have like 8 or 10 allocations. Well, we need to put some stock orders in there, or Ford's going to put their own order in there. And sometimes we don't like what they choose for the orders. So we need to make sure we put stock orders in there so that we get the stock configurations that we want and that works for us as a dealership. So we did that with had to do that with some Super Duty on some things. So priority codes, that is a priority given to an order. So retail orders are always looked at. Now they get in 03 to 19. So you kind of can stack your retail orders based on maybe when they ordered, maybe, depends on the dealership. They can stack it how they want to. And then your stock orders are 20 to 80. So retail orders are always looked at first within the capacity that they can build them. We're going to actually probably see this month where we might actually get some Mavericks, not Maverick stock, but some newer orders. We do have a couple people. We'll only about a handful of people that locally we let put them an order in because we knew we'd have enough allocations for the year. And so some of those are 10 to 19, and they're getting looked at because they want to schedule more EcoBoost, and we don't have any more EcoBoost orders. So that's a possibility. So, and so that's kind of how that works. Again, lower the better. So they're going to try to always fulfill a retail with the same configuration. Scheduling, that is what we're talking about in here as we talk about what models are scheduling and such like that. Ford will schedule an order for production date in the future. Those production dates are scheduled to the week, to the day. As they get closer, sometimes those will shift around and move as they need to stack the factory. Allocations are Ford needs Ford will give dealers allocations to schedule their orders, and dealers will need an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. And dealer earns those allocations based on their sales for each model year. Some models will have different configurations and how they choose to allocate those, but typically it's based on sales within your region. And then constraints, we'll talk about those because some of these we'll talk about is, hey, these are constraints going on, which means it may take longer to build, and because of that they can only do so many, or they have the supply. Because of the supply they have from the different vendors, they're only able to do so many. And then that also kind of alludes into capacity, which also is saying that this is their planned rate based on the motor trim option. Right now, Maverick, for instance, is one of those where it's 50% hybrid, 50% EcoBoost right now. And so sometimes that will change. Trim levels the same way. We'll get into that as well. Sometimes we'll talk about that when we talk about capacity. And then job 1 and 2, actually we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. So job 1 is the first half year of production, and they split it. And then the second half of the year is job 2. Balance out is when they're ending the production for either a model option, usually an option, and there's a couple on when we get to transit that they're balanced out for the rest of the year. And then the model will get balanced out eventually as well for each of these. And we'll talk about some of those are coming up on some vehicles too. So there we go. So that's going through that. I should just leave that up so you guys can see it as we go through this, but in case we get into that. So I feel like I'm like off over here. All right. So let's start with the 24 Mustang. So 24 Mustang is scheduling this week. This is job. We talked about the different job 1 and job 2. This is the balance out scheduling for job 1. So we'll see if they make any changes. There usually will be a job 2 order guide. Any changes that might happen. So we'll see. One of those changes might be the fact that like the Night Pony package and the GT Performance package might be for retail only. So they may actually put that change actually in the order bank or in the order guide, I should say. But there you go. Right now, they currently have 2,090 unscheduled retail orders. And that's not including stock orders. So like right now, we have like 1 retail Mustang order in our order bank. And it happens to be a dark horse, I think. And it's actually previewing this week. So for right now, of the orders that are in there, of those 2,000 orders, 50% of the orders in there have the GT Performance package on the order. It's crazy. So that's 1,000 of those. And then about 22% have a Night Pony package on it. So that if you look at it, that 72% either have one of those 2 things on them, which is kind of crazy. Right now, the order banks are open up for the 24 model year Mustang. And there you go. So, yeah. And only constraints we have on that is that the Night Pony package and the GT Performance package are retail only restrictions. So a dealer can't put a stock one in. You might look on our lot and say, well, you have some GT Performance packages. That's because we had customers that didn't take theirs when they came in. So that's how that would happen. All right. Moving on to 24 model year Escape. Retail scheduling only. Oh, also going back to Mustang, I do this. It seems like I always do Mustang wrong. So because Mustang, they are scheduling this week for production dates, the weeks of December 4th through January 15th. So it's a big window. Remember, the plants are going to be down probably the last 2 weeks of December. All right. 24 model year Escape. Retail scheduling only. There's about 1,026 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. 16% of those are plug-in hybrid. So quite a few of those waiting to get theirs. They are scheduling for the weeks of December 4th through December 25th. So they're only scheduling for December build dates there. Order banks are open up right now for the 24 model year Escape, so you can place that order, except for the base. The base was a retail only option, and now it is closed out completely. No more base. In the future, they probably won't see that. We're seeing that on a lot of other models, including Explorer for 24. All right, moving on. 24 model year Bronco Sport. There's about 376 unscheduled orders in the order bank. Not too many. 14% of those are the freewheeling edition. That's still a late availability option. And 14% of them are Badlands. So pretty even there. And 56% of them, of those orders, have the Big Ben convenience package. And another 56% have the Copilot 360 Assist Plus package. So really popular package on the Bronco Sports there. So they are scheduling. It says no stock scheduling. So they're only looking for retail orders, which is probably why we don't have any previewing, because we don't have any retail orders. So if you want to put a retail order on a Bronco Sport, probably get scheduled pretty easily. We do have an allocation. They are scheduled for build weeks December 4th through December 25th. Only December months of scheduling, and order banks are open up for 24 model year Bronco Sport. And they're going to start building those, the 24 model years, October 19th. So that's coming up in 9 days. They're switching that over. So pretty cool. And there's no note in here about the freewheeling edition. So I'm wondering if we're about ready to start seeing some of those start scheduling. Because normally it says in here that it's that it's still late availability, but it's not mentioned on here. 24 model year Edge is scheduling this week. There's about 541 unscheduled orders, retail orders in the order bank. Not that many. They are scheduling for production weeks December 4th through January 29th. So we're looking for 2 months there. Again, factory will probably down for a couple of those weeks in December. 24 model year Edge ST stock order bank is closed. So you cannot put in an Edge ST. They closed that off. Otherwise, the other ones, the order banks are open up for the Edge. There you go.
All right.
That's all I have for that Edge. All right. 24 model year Ranger is not scheduling right now. The plant is on strike. So there's currently 3,171 unscheduled orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for Ranger, and we don't know when they're going to start job one. So we got to wait for the for that strike to end. All right, 23 model year Bronco, no scheduling this week. Again, that plant is down. Ranger and Bronco are made in the same place. There's currently 9,167 retail unscheduled orders in the order bank. And I don't know, because they didn't have 23 model year, if that includes 24 model year, because it could, not sure. But it does say in there that 92% of the ones that are unscheduled in there are hardtop. 14% of those hardtops, or 14% are two-door hardtops. And then 16% are Heritage Edition. That's the big kicker, the big one there. So 24 model year order banks are open up right now. Do note there on Raptor. It's not in here, but it's just something that I've noticed. Don't forget on the 24 model year Raptor, if you want that code orange appearance package, that is not available yet to put on your order. So like we have somebody that wants one of those, we're going to just hold on to that until it's available. Then we can put that order in for them. All right. 24 model year Maverick. Retail scheduling only this week. So like I said, we have a lot of allocations that are going to get scheduled probably. They're scheduling for production weeks in December, so the weeks of December 4th through December 25th. And then there is currently 43,029 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank right now. 68% of those are hybrid. Yeah, and about 38% of the orders in the order bank are XL. Their capacity is 23%, but don't forget, 23% is for their whole year of production, whereas that 38 is just based on the 41,000 number or 43,000 number. So keep that in mind as well. So again, 38% of the 43,000 is well below what 23% is of what 120, 130, 140,000 they can make in a year. So definitely all the XL orders that are in there will get scheduled eventually. I know some of you have been waiting for a little while, but they will get scheduled. It's just time. So little note that I added here is only 2% of the unscheduled orders in order bank are tremor orders with 10% of their capacity. So you want to get something scheduled quickly, pick EcoBoost and even pick Tremor if you want, and you can probably get scheduled right away. Most dealerships, probably not ours because we have so many carryover orders and we're not taking orders. But anyway, also something to note is on the hitch. 66% of the unscheduled orders have the hitch on there, and their capacity for the entire year is 65%. So you can go ahead and leave those hitches on there. Even the optional hitches, you should be fine. They do have notes in here, exhaustive availability on XL. I wouldn't worry about that. We had 19 XLs previewing this week. So they're going to schedule XLs. So just, I know that sometimes we mention in here, they tell us exhaustive availability. I'm still trying to understand some of the wording on the scheduling notes because we have seen some say exhausted and still see them scheduled. So, so I'm not sure on that. Limit availability on XLT, it says even, and we have like most of ours that are previewing are XLT. I mean, we're going to have probably close to 80 Mavericks scheduled with XLT trim. So, again, they're still scheduling that. So they also mentioned limit availability on black appearance package. Splash guards, the standard XLT wheel, which is probably what's causing the XLT to have issues, and then also the wheel or the tire that is available on the XL and XLT. It doesn't say it's a standard tire. And then also exhaust availability on your tonneau cover. Again, I've recommended to you guys keep your tonneau covers off and splash guards anyway, but there you go. So that's that. So again, keeping this in mind, just like with Super Duties, it doesn't mean you won't get scheduled. It's going to be a little bit harder because of the parts availability is what they're talking about there. Moving on, 23 model year Explorer is not scheduling this week. Again, Explorer is on strike at that factory. They have 267 unscheduled retail orders, not that many. Only 1% of them are hybrid orders. So you know that. And 23 model year order banks, we'll talk about that in a second. They're closed, but we'll talk about it in seconds. All right, 24 model year Expedition. No scheduling this week. There's currently 922 orders, retail orders in the order bank. Don't forget, Platinum will require optional 22-inch wheel, and Platinum units must include the multi-contoured seat removal because they're having parts issues there. Order banks are open up for 24 model year Expedition. Okay, 24 model year Super Duty. Looks like they are scheduling for the Kentucky truck plant for the weeks of 11-13 and to 11-27, so November. They are not scheduling for the Ohio truck plant. So Ohio assembly plant is not scheduling this week, and that's where most of the cabin chassis are built. So if you have one of those, yeah, you're not gonna get scheduled. And there's 21,165 unscheduled orders in the order bank for the Super Duty. 61% of those orders have the 6.7 liter high output diesel engine with a capacity at 10%. So that's really skewed there. So I would encourage you to go to the standard 6.7 liter diesel engine. It's a good engine, nothing wrong with it. It'll give you plenty of power and everything, because there's only 25% of the orders in the order bank have that motor. and the capacity, they're well below the capacity. So that would be a suggestion I'd have for you if you're struggling to get scheduled. Some of the other notes on here, just like we've had for the last, I don't know how many weeks, King Ranch and Platinum will be 100% multi-contoured seat. So they're saying you don't have to worry about the removal. They're going to get those. All chassis cab orders require the upfitter interface modular 18A option for 24 model year. So don't forget about that. Limited availability on F550, King Ranch, and Limited. Exhaust availability on F600, Platinum, and Lariat. And then limited availability on the 6.7 high output Power Stroke diesel engine. Kind of already talked about that. Also, the same goes for the Power Stroke diesel engine. So both of those diesel engines are struggling right now. They're going to schedule some just in a limited quantity there. Also, the 20-inch bright machine cast wheel with the Caribou painted pockets. That's your King Ranch wheel. That's standard on the F250 and F350 single rear wheels. That one there. That one is a limited availability. 20, which is probably what's limiting the King Ranch from getting scheduled. 20-inch bright machined and painted aluminum wheel. It's standard on F250 and F350 Platinum, single rear wheel Platinum, I should say. That also is an issue there, limited availability part issue probably. And then the some of the axles we've talked about before, the Dana axle M300 heavy duty rear. That's available on the F450, F550 chassis cabs. With the 7.3 gas and the 6.7 diesel engines and dually. So that axle there is limited. Dana axle M315 rear, that's optional on the F350, F450, F600 dualies with the 6.7 diesel engines. And then also the low running frame, GA, that's available on the F350s with the 7.3 gas engine and all diesel engines, and the 145-inch wheelbase is limited. This one's new. It says the Voss Super SC level, which is on the 192-inch wheelbase. With the aft to axle fuel tank 65Z is that option, and the low sulfur no BP cap option 98L. So that's a new one, and that hadn't been on there before. Also, the fifth wheel hitch kit. This is the hitch, not the prep. This is restricted. So again, that's optional on the F250s and 350s. And King Ranch Platinum and Limited, it's standard. So you shouldn't, if you have those, you don't have to worry about taking that off because it's included. And then also the tire that you get that's optional on the chassis cab, F600s, XL and XLTs, that is also a limited availability. So they're struggling with that 19.5-inch wheel there for you. Also exhaust availability for the 7.3 gas. So now we've seen limited availability on the diesels and the gas. So if you want a quick turn, you needing something, 6.8 gas is an option for you. But it looks like to me you're probably better off going with the diesel. It'll probably get scheduled because it's limited, whereas the gas is exhausted. And then, of course, we mentioned that 19.5-inch tire or wheel again. That's standard on or actually, this is the tire. So the tire in the wheel is constrained. The LK frame, which is optional on the F550, F600 with the 6.7 liter and 7.3 liter with the 143-inch dually without the payload package that's that's exhausted. The HBK frame, which is optional on the F350 two-wheel drive with the it says 7.3 diesel, but and the 169-inch wheelbase. So I'm not sure if it's the 7.3 gas or the diesel. I really need to fix that. A GBK frame, which is optional on the F350 two-wheel drive. Again, it says 7.3 diesel and the 145-inch dually or single rear wheel. So I'm not sure which frame. I don't know if it's the diesel or the gas because it says 7.3 diesel. So also the 193-inch wheelbase, it's optional on the XL, XLT, 450, 550, 600 chassis cabs, and the 245-inch wheelbase with the same configuration. The 4x4 front axles, which is available on the F450, 550, 600 with the 4.3 or 4.88 regular axle gear ratio. So that's a new one for this week. I haven't seen that one before. And the low running frame PB that's available on F450s and F550s with the 7.3 gas engine and all diesel engines with the 179-inch wheelbase and the dualies. Let's see what else. The 360-degree dual beacon LED warning strobe, the amber white and the amber. That's restricted right now, which is crazy. Heavy duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas. So you want to maybe change that alternator. The transfer case that's standard on the F600 4x4s with the 7.3 gas or the 6.7 diesels and the 193 or 205-inch wheelbase for the chassis cabs. Max recline seats also is an issue there, so don't forget to take those off. The Baja interior which is optional on the XL and Lariats is restricted and or exhausted, and the lug nut cap, believe it or not, available on the F250, 450 pickups with the 4-wheel drive single rear wheel 20-inch chrome wheel. So there you go. Whew. So a lot of stuff on the Super Duty. So part issues still are haunting us on our Super Duties there. Some of the builds that we've seen get scheduled and do pretty well. Lariats, we've been seeing pretty good luck with those with the sport packages because some of those wheels on those, we've also seen XLTs. So if you're wanting to get your truck, you need a truck, maybe instead of looking and waiting out for that King Rancher Platinum, maybe, put in another order and see if you can get, an XLT or a Lariat instead. So, and then maybe hold out for that King Ranch. 23 model year F-150, they are scheduling for build weeks of December 11th and December 18th to finish out production. So some dealers will have some allocations for that. They gave some extra ones to carry over to keep the plant rolling. So don't forget those. A lot of dealers will probably have stock orders. There's only 2,980 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, so they should probably get taken care of. And then next week we'll start scheduling for 24 model year, so which is unusual. So, by the way, the 24 model year Super D order banks are open up, as well as the 24 model year F-150 order banks are open up as well. And then job one for 24 model year F-150 is, let's see, scheduling begins, next week. So we don't have the job one yet on those. All right. 23 model year F-150 Lightning is not scheduling. So 24 model year scheduling will begin next week. So they kind of go live with that. And you can put an order in the order bank. You can order a 24 model year F-150 Lightning right now, as we mentioned earlier. 23 model year Mach-E. Retail scheduling this week, retail only. There's 108 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, not a lot. Most of those are non-GT all-wheel drives, and 74% of them are the LFP battery. So people want that battery. They are scheduling for build weeks of December 4th through December 18th. So there you go. So getting those finished out, as we mentioned, we're going to be closing off the order banks for that. As well. They're going to be closing soon. And we don't have a tentative of yet when the order banks can open up. Order banks should open up next week. So I think the 16th. There you go. So it's not in here. Actually, it says in here 11/2. So they moved it back. So it looks like the 24 model year order bank for the Mach-E will open up November 2nd. So they do have a note in here. So they moved that back. It was supposed to be next week, and they moved it. So there you go. So that happens. And that's why a lot of times they don't like me giving dates out, is because like last week I gave you guys a date of October 16th, and then they can't fulfill that. And so they move it back. So right now, tentative for November 2nd there. 23 model year Transit. There's 10,617 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are scheduling for the week of December 4th. They're saying this is balance out for Transit for 23 model year. So if you have an unscheduled order after this week that still doesn't get scheduled, you're going to want to make sure you put in for that 24 model year Transit order, because they won't get just carried over. You will need to put a new order in. So make sure you do that, because the order banks are open up for 24 model year Transit. They'll start scheduling for that next week as well. And the e-Transit, both. Here's some constraints for that one. Let's see here. The best availability is for the 3.5 V6 Cyclone engine. That's 99.8 option code. Then the EcoBoost engine. Also, the 61E is the high resolution camera is temporarily available for stock orders, it says. But if they got retail orders, why would you schedule stocks or whatever? Please consider that the power sliding door is not available for 24 model year. So you cannot get that in 24. Limited availability for these following options: four-wheel drive, the 3.5 EcoBoost engine, as we just mentioned a second ago, the heavy-duty front axle, which is option 41E, the AM/FM stereo with the 4-inch multi-function display, and the digital rear view camera option 90C. Those are all limited. Exhaust availability is for the high roof jumbo bus, the high roof long bus, the 360-degree camera, transit trail package, the Sync 4 with the Sirius XM with the 360L, and then your ebony leather, ebony cloth, and dark palazzo gray cloth 10-way power driver and passenger seats. So those are options 21S, 21R, and 21Q. Balanced out completely, as I mentioned earlier, might be talking about that. This is the model that we talk about that on. Depopulated key is not available. It's done. Power running boards is done. Side barn doors is done, as well as all crew van codes are done. And the Transit 350 heavy duty dually cutaway chassis cab and cargo vans are done as well. And then not available for stock orders is the 3.5 EcoBoost and the 360-degree camera for your ICE orders. So there you go. And then they don't have any notes for us on Transit Connect because that balanced out last week. And so Transit Connect is done. I mean, they're not done. They're going to keep building them. So I think they build through December, the week of December, or no, December 22nd is the last day they will build a Transit Connect for who knows for how long, ever probably. So there you go. All right. There you go.
All right.
So I might have to change my monitor because I feel like I was like right on top of that. All right. There we go. Any questions on scheduling that popped up while I went over that?
A few.
A few?
A couple. Maybe one or two.
Let's address them.
Okay. So, what is the possibility of getting a Maverick this year if ordered July 18th? There's a lot that goes into that probability.
I would say 100%.
There you go.
I mean, we got to think about this. They're building like last month alone.
Oh, he has a priority 19.
So last month, don't forget they made, what did they say, 13,000 Mavericks last month, right? And let's say 10,000. Let's play it safe. Let's say they build 10,000 a month, right? There's 43,000 unscheduled orders in the order bank. So that's 4 months of scheduling, 4 months of production, right? So,
Yeah.
And they're scheduling for December build dates. So December being 10,000. Actually, probably won't be quite. December probably won't be the 10,000. But let's not even count that. Let's say that's the 3,000. And let's say, so then we have January, February, March, April. So by May, they could be clean of any unless new orders get put in.
Yeah.
Like last week, that number was 41,000 unscheduled orders, and they scheduled some, which means that we had about 2,000 new orders put in the order bank in the last week, right? So that can continue to happen. So look at the wrong camera. So keep that in mind. So they will all get scheduled. All the XLs will get scheduled. We have a lot of people in there going, mine will never get scheduled. Yes, it will. So there's plenty. That's why the order banks are still open up, because you can do that. And a lot of people thinking, well, that means the demand for the Maverick is down. No, it's still the hottest vehicle, not only for Ford, it's probably the hottest vehicle for about any manufacturer right now is the Ford Maverick. Hybrid pickup truck, small. I mean, it is still in great demand. So I think what's happening is you're seeing orders getting scheduled, and then more orders being put in there, more orders getting scheduled, and they're producing more than they did last year. So last year they were averaging about 7,500. This year they're averaging about 10,000. So they're running on 3 shifts there. That's how many they're producing and getting kicked out. They're producing more hybrids out of the Maverick truck plant or Maverick Hermosillo
Mhm.
than they are on the F-150s are probably. I mean, when you think about it that way. So
Yep.
anyway, okay.
So there's questions about, does Ford make any cars? The only car that they make is a Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, they have stopped making the Focus, Fusion, and Fiesta. I always liked it. If you knew it was either a car or a truck. If it was a truck, it had an F before it. If it was a SUV, it had an E. It started with an E. If it was a car, it started with an F.
Yeah. So
I
here's
always
something.
liked that.
Here's something to think about, and I mentioned this when I did my lot walk with the members. Is that we're going to probably see the Escape production get moved out of the United States. So it comes down to when you want a car, you want it to be cheaper. Look at where they're making the Maverick. Inexpensive truck, it's made in Mexico. If you want an inexpensive SUV, you got to look at it. I mean, to be honest, you got to look at Honda and Toyota. They're able to make the cars and stuff still because they can still make it affordable because they're not using union jobs for that. I mean, nothing against union workers; they deserve it, but those are probably going to be jobs for producing in like your truck plants, your trucks, Super Duties, and that kind of stuff. Which we still, I mean, that's our number one selling vehicle is the truck. I mean, we love our F-150 and Super Duty. That's always going to be our number one seller and number one seller in the United States. So we love the production and those workers and everything. But it's just, I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, that's to be competitive against Honda and Toyota, and I think that's what Ford realizes, that we cannot be competitive with Honda and Toyota in making a car and be able to compete with them price wise with the current job labor costs that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're saying that more people don't want cars. People do try to work their way up from a car to an SUV. I don't want to like driving cars. I'd rather drive an SUV or a truck myself. And so we're seeing more people want to do that. But also, could there be more to that? Not necessarily just the demand, but probably it's because they couldn't make it cheap enough to compete against Honda, Toyota, Kia, all these other brands.
Yeah.
Right. So, something to think about. Anyway.
All right.
And I probably could totally be wrong. And
That is all I have for scheduling questions. So I guess I only had one.
Nothing else?
Not for scheduling.
All right.
And the other questions I have in there pertain to things that we will be talking about later.
You want to go do the good dealer news? You don't have your camera on.
I don't.
You can just do it from here if you want.
Yeah.
There's only a couple there.
Alrighty.
Oh, here.
What? Can't forget that graphic.
All right.
Ready?
There you go.
All right. Make sure you're watching the comments.
I'll try.
There's one. See? All right. This is just a this isn't recalls. This is just something that they've put out there. Okay. All right, dealer news. Final day to submit new customer retail orders for the 23 Mustang Mach-E will be October 10th for all Mustang Mach-E models. This action will be effective on Ford.com build and price and in dealership ordering on October 10th. Details surrounding the ordering of 24 model year Mustang Mach-E will be the subject of a future announcement. October 10th. So key dates, October 10th, 2023, Ford.com build and price 23 Mustang Mach-E ordering turned off at 8 a.m. On October 10th, 2023, dealers will have until 4 p.m. to submit into Webdo new 23 Mustang Mach-E retail orders, and dealers must complete acceptance of any new 23 retail orders from the e-commerce system by 4 p.m. So is that saying that they need to have everything done by 4?
Yeah, it means today that
Like,
you could enter
that's
you
today.
could enter the order in. Yes, today.
Oh.
You could enter the order. So if they did it online, the dealer had to accept the order by 4 p.m. today, or they could order it in Webdo, and they had till 4 p.m. today. So now they are closed.
Okay.
Yep.
I did not see what today's date was.
Yep.
It is the 10th.
Yep, it's today,
Okay.
and we just got that yesterday. So they were like, "Here you go, you get a day."
All
Oh,
right.
thanks.
So can I say these key dates?
Yep.
Okay. So key dates on 24 Explorer. Are these tentative or are these solid?
Yeah.
Okay. And just so you know, I was not in any
Nope.
briefing. I was sitting at my desk editing a video. October 17th, order banks open, order guide and price is available. November 30th, build and price goes live, and January 4th is estimated okay to buy.
Yep.
So, woohoo.
Yep. So 24 model year
Explorer.
Explorer is not the new. It's not the
No,
refresh. That
it
is
is
for 25
not.
model year is the refresh. But
So, because the 25 is a refresh, 24 is going to be a 4-month run.
Yep.
4
January
months.
through April.
Yes.
January through April.
That should be fun. And then, we get 25 after that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
get a nice refresh. I mean,
There's going to be 3 months they're going to schedule
If-
for the 23 Explorer.
Yeah.
So you want to get that order in. So the
So if
start of
people-
next month,
I mean,
December.
if people know that 25 is a refresh, they're more likely to hold out till 25 instead of ordering a 24 unless they need a vehicle now.
Yep. Well, there
So-
are some key things you need to remember. One of the things I wanted to jump in on this is that at King Ranch and Timberline is not going to be available in 25 model years. So if you're wanting a King Ranch or a Timberline, then you need to go ahead and get that order in for 24 because they are not going to make those two trim levels as well as the base.
Ooh.
But we knew the base was going away too. So those are not going to be made in 25 model
That
year.
changes everything.
So those two, yeah. So you need to get in. So they're gonna November's allocations. November will be the first month they're scheduling for 24 model year Explorer, and then also January, February. February
Yeah.
is going to be the balance out scheduling for the 24 Explorer, and then supposedly we'll see, and we'll see a sometime they said first quarter
Mhm.
we'll see the new 25 Explorer,
Okay.
refreshed Explorer. So
All right.
there you go.
If I was in sales, I had customer base, I'd be calling all my people that have an Explorer and Timberline or King Ranch, and I'd be like, hey, this is going away. You want to order a new one?
And yeah, some of them, I mean,
I'd be trying to, go, hey, you want this in the newest year that you could get it? Let's get you ordered. All right. Commodity constraints. No major product updates. So they aren't really updating anything. So there aren't commodity constraints going over into 24. Do I go over the estimate? You didn't really show me much on that.
Don't go over that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's for the allocation, and they said they're going to stop giving us our estimates for our allocation numbers because it was too confusing for dealers because they were trying to do it. Well, they were trying to do it based on that, and then because of that, they were taking orders on like some of the different capacity because according to them, if the capacity is 10%, then they didn't want it to.
So simplify it or teach the dealers how to.
Yep. So
figure it out.
So here's the funny thing about that. So I know this is on the webcast, and I shouldn't talk about the webcast, but
we don't talk about webcasts.
but I am. So go ahead, get mad at me. But here's the deal about that is so you're gonna go back to not telling us what our estimated allocation number is for production for the model year. So then what are we? So does that mean that I can go ahead and take orders for the Maverick? And then will I go over capacity? Then whose fault's that going to be? Because you didn't give us an estimated number, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to come back to haunt you. I'm telling you. Why don't you just teach dealers actually how to read those? That's what you need to do. And if you want, I can put a video together. Ford just needs to use me. So, because I was watching some of the webcasts and nothing against them, but there's a lot of ums and things in there. And
we have a lot of ums.
I'm like, I've gotten pretty good at it,
You
but
are.
I'm like, and they were doing Q&A, and I'm like, boy, it's not anything like our live stream. Like, come on, bring it on. Let's go. Next question. Let's go. Keep going. Anyway, I shouldn't.
They don't have me.
I shouldn't have said any of that right there.
No.
Hopefully nobody watch. They don't watch this, right?
What they don't have is me, because sometimes you just start to ramble, and I go, okay, next question.
That's right.
They need a Sarah. They'll be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, they need someone to read the questions and then they can just answer,
Yes.
which they kind of do. But
they aren't pushing. Although I haven't
right.
seen these
So,
dealers.
all
I
right.
don't watch the broadcast or anything.
All
So
right, so
how would I know?
we'll highlight this. So Ragnarcon says, how the heck are the estimates confusing? Well, here's how they're confusing to the dealers. So what they do is on the allocation sheet, they show here is what your number is total for the year. So let's say it's 60 Broncos, for instance, right? But then they say based on that, and based on that, the Heritage Edition is capacity is 3%. You shouldn't take any more than this many Heritage Edition orders, and they're sticking to that. So they did the same thing for Maverick and said, based on this number, you shouldn't take any more than 35% hybrid orders. Well, now the capacity is 50%. So that's where it's getting dealers because some dealers are trying to stick to that other number, not just their overall order number, but the other. And that's really more of a overall percentage for the entire nation. Well, like, you know, talking to um, some people, I won't tell you who, through Ford said, well, the only problem with that is that when you look down in Florida, Florida's not ordering the FX4 off-road package, which if you look at the capacity for that and you stick within that number, well, if nobody in Florida orders the FX4 off-road package, that's more other dealers in the Midwest that can get an FX4 off-road package. So
there's a trade-off.
Yeah, so that's where using those numbers isn't correct. We saw that with Bronco. They told us we shouldn't take any more than 3 two-door orders. And in 23 model year, in the second half, I should say, when they opened them back up, we ended up getting 12 of our scheduled instead of 3. That's where I think dealers were getting confused on that. So instead of just taking the orders, and like for us, we're like, we can't say like somebody wants to put in an order. I'm like, well, we can take your order. We have an allocation for it, but we don't have one for a 2-door. So if you want to order a 4-door, then we can take your order. Otherwise, we can't. Well, then dealer's got to find another dealer, or customer's got to find another dealer and everything. But we didn't do that. We just said, you know what, let's take our order, just let you know, because of constraints that could cause yours to not get scheduled possibly, or take longer to get scheduled. Just want to let you know that. So just being honest with your customer, that could be, something like right now, we had carryover Maverick orders. The way it looks like, I guess we'll find out on Thursday, is that almost all of our EcoBoost carryover orders will probably get scheduled this week. So we'll have all those taken care of. So what we'll have left is only hybrid orders.
Yeah.
So what's that mean? Does that mean that it'll take more months for those, and that they'll actually give us more extra allocations for EcoBoost orders? Or will they give those EcoBoost to other people, other dealerships, and then give us the primary of the hybrids to fulfill ours? So they will make sure all of our carryovers get scheduled. They will definitely make sure that happens. So more than likely, we're going to get more hybrids. That would be a case where we're going to get more hybrids than another dealer because of those carryover orders. Yeah. So anyway, all right. There you go. Didn't mean to go on with that, but so there you go.
It's a good thing to say, Yeah.
All right. You ready to move on to recalls? Anything else?
No. Oh, keypad for 24 Maverick is DIO.
Yes, deal install option. And
we were asking Niles, and Niles is like, I'm gonna have to get some homework for that.
It is, and I think it's illuminated because
I'm pretty sure
the order guide says, I think the order guide doesn't state whether or not it's illuminated, but on the front page, I think it mentions it. So I don't know. Anyway, I think it's the same thing that you get from the factory now, from what I understand. So
when you were talking about, just be truthful with your people. We have people call in and go, hey, I want to order a Maverick. And we are truthful and say, well, we aren't taking orders because we have too many rollovers. We want to make sure our local customers get a chance to place an order with their local dealer, which is us. So we aren't taking orders now.
But that might change depending on how things go, right?
Yeah. I always say you are welcome to put down your name in case we open up orders. Our people will give you a call when we do that. If not, I suggest finding a good local dealer. You can find one here at the Maverick Truck Club forum. Otherwise you can join us in 2025.
Yeah.
So, but they said, someone did ask, when will we be taking new orders for Maverick? Don't know yet.
When we see that we're getting more fulfilled, like we're getting close to 40% of our ours scheduled this month.
Mhm.
So with that in line, depending on what it looks like, we might also get, like last year, we were expecting more that one month and we got a 0, which should not have happened. If it's based on your sales volume, you should never get a 0 in any month if you're selling 25 a month like we have been. But whatever. Anyway, I won't go into that just in case somebody's watching. Okay, let's get into recalls.
Into recalls.
Let's see.
Graphic.
There was actually one here. Let's do this in real quick. Let's do builds here because it says, have they started building the 24 Super Duties? Not yet. So I believe I had that on my sheet here. So it depends on what Super Duty you're looking for. So there are 2 different truck plants for Super Duty. And so the Kentucky truck plant starts building. Actually, today is when they're supposed to start. That actually changed. It was supposed to be like last week, and they did change it. It got pushed back. Ohio, which is where most of the cab and chassis are made. Chassis cabs. Sorry, I always said it that. They start up at the end of the month, like the 30th of this month. So just there you go.
And no, we don't take bribes.
Bribes.
He said, "What if I just slide you this 20? Can you make an exception?" Nope. No bribes here.
No. All right. Let's get into recalls here. All right. I had to slide over into my other one. All right. So let's get in talk about some recalls. And there's actually quite a few here. And most of these are just updated to recalls that were already out. So we call those a supplement guide. And that's for basically things are available for those recalls, or they've changed something on there. So that's has to do with this first one, which is a safety recall 22 S's and Sarah 71. This is supplement number 2 that came out. This is for 21 to 22 model year F-150s with the windshield wiper motor replacement. This recall has actually been out for a while. And they did, the reason they updated this was that there's now a list of certain motor engineering part numbers. So they've actually updated that list. So they know what part numbers they're looking for. And so that's pretty much all they did on this. So this is, most people got this already taken care of, but they did kind of update that. And so this recall was started because there was windshield wiper motors that may stop moving or not function. And so a lot of
Weren't
them
some
had to be
like
checked.
flying off?
Flying off? Not
Yeah.
really.
Oh.
Owner letters stating that that no repair is available were mailed out the week of January. Were mailed out the week of January 23rd of 23. So yeah, so this recall has been out for a while, and then there was an update when the parts were available. That was mailed out the week of June 19th. So you can see this recall has been out for a while, but now they've kind of updated to help dealers. We had all of ours taken care of a while back. That's not really any issues too much, but they did update something there, and I like to keep you guys up, apprised of all those changes. So this is another one. Safety recall 23 S's and Sarah 23 supplement number 3. This is on certain 2020 to 2023 Explorer and Aviators and 2020 to 22 Corsairs. This has to do with the 360-degree camera getting a blue or black screen. So reason for this update is parts are available now. So and they also, this one here, actually, we talked about that last week. The parts were available, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But on this one, they actually updated some of the build dates because they actually included more vehicle dates than before. So now we have more dates. So now it's Explorers built between October 19th of 2018 through August 20th of 23. So they actually extended it back to the August 20th now. And then Aviators built between October 19th of 2018 through August 23rd of 2023. Actually, I think they moved the date up because they told us today that a lot of those are getting fixed at the factory now since the plant is down. They're using some of those parts that they would normally use to build vehicles to repair the vehicles. Makes sense.
It does.
Yeah,
It makes perfect
that's awesome.
sense.
Also, Corsairs built 2020 through January 6th of 2019 through December 15th of 22. So they didn't change the dates on any of those. But 443,235 vehicles were affected by this. But parts are available now. So if you have, an Explorer, Aviator, Corsair that had that recall, go to your dealer. They should have parts available. We received all of ours last week. So most dealerships have received all the parts for those. So that's pretty awesome because we had vehicles that were setting waiting to cause we couldn't even sell them, show them, or anything until those recalls were done. Now they're done. Now we have them back on our website and back to where we can sell them. And that's good because we've had some of these vehicles for 6 months waiting for this recall to be done. So that's awesome. All right. This next one is an advance notice for recall 23 Essence and Sarah or safety 48. This is on 2020 to 2023 model year Aviators, 2021 Broncos, that's mine, 2018 to 2021 Navigator, 2022 to 2023 Transits with a 360-degree camera or the HD rear view camera. Replace the rear view camera. Uh-oh. All right. So Aviators built October 20th of 18 through September 6th of 23. I believe those are almost the same ones as we just talked about. The Broncos built in Michigan assembly plant between September 23rd of 2020 through December 22nd of 21. That's the date window for mine. Navigator 2018 to 2021. March 16th of 2017 through December 23rd of 21. And Transits built in Kansas City February 26th, 21 through July 20th of 23. Just because your vehicle is built between this in this window doesn't mean it's affected. 168,974 vehicles are affected by this. And it says in affected vehicles, customers may intermittently experience either a rear camera blue image or a full blue or black image on the sync screen. That's the center stack screen. When the vehicle is in reverse or when the 360-degree view is selected and available during low-speed operation. So you can't choose your front camera or 360 if you didn't know that when you're in drive. Loss of rear view camera image while in reverse increases risk of crash. Or you could just do it like we used to do in the old days. Just swing your arm back, look behind you. That's what we used to do.
That's what I still do.
Use your mirrors. Your mom still does that. We have a really long drive, and she won't back down the drive because she doesn't trust the camera. So anyway,
I look behind me when I back down your driveway.
I do both. All right. The note letters will go out. Actually, it says owners of record will be notified via first class mail after repair instructions and parts ordering information have been provided to dealers. You would think this shouldn't be difficult because they just fixed the Explorers. It's probably the same issue with these, right? So it shouldn't take long. But
No,
this is an advance notice, so I'm letting you know this. Some dealers may not even be aware that this is coming out. So be patient with them and wait to see if yours shows up. And if you're not experiencing this happening to your vehicle, you're probably not going to be affected by the recall. I mean,
yeah,
like mine's not doing it. So anyway, all right. This next one is first time I've ever seen this wording. It says harvest program. 23H is in harvest. 05. By the way, a lot of times the letters in the middle have to go with whether it's a safety recall, emissions recall, or something like that. Anyway, this is on certain 2022 model year Navigator and 2022 to 2023 model year Mach-E, F-150 Lightnings, F-150s, Expeditions, and Broncos. Bronco again. Instrument cluster odometer inspection. So it says this program will be in effect through October 31st of 24. So for a year now. I won't go through all the different dates of each model. It says only 50 vehicles are affected by this. Bronco, it's 2022, so that wouldn't be mine. So for Bronco, it's 2022 to 2023. For Expedition, it's 2022 and 2023 model years, so that could be your mom's. It's hers because she drives all the time. F-150s in Kansas City, 2022 model year and 2023 model year. Dearborn, same years. Lightning, same years, 22 to 23. Mach-E, same years as well. Navigator's just the 1 year, 2022. So So 50 vehicles. So this is a proactive program by Ford Motor Company to obtain parts from customers' vehicles to support an investigation. Ford has identified that specific owner vehicles are equipped with an instrument cluster that may have a malfunctioning odometer. Ford is voluntarily conducting this program to evaluate the performance of functionality of the obtained instrument clusters.
Can I send in my?
So letters are expected to be mailed the week of October 16th.
So I know that the odometer on my C-Max is not working. Can I send that one in?
It wasn't listed on the recall. No. All right. This next one is safety recall 23 S is in safety 49. This is actually supplement number 2. So this is an update. We actually talked about this recall not too long ago. This is on 2023 model year F250s and 350s with the 2.5-inch axle shafts. So this has to do with the left axle shaft failure at the flange. It's just a fun word. All right. Reason for this supplement is that the repair is now available. So now you can get this repair done. Before, when we talked about it, it was an advanced notice. And also they've updated the parts labor hours that so technicians can get paid on it by Ford and everything. So, and they updated the technical instructions for this. So 41,468 vehicles are affected by this. In case you don't remember, some affected vehicles, the left rear axle shaft was manufactured without proper completion of a heat treatment process, which may cause the left rear axle shaft to break. A broken rear axle shaft could result in a loss of motive power and the inability to hold the vehicle in park. The vehicle, of course, we know it's dangerous. All right, and then letters are going to go out this next week, the week of the 16th, to people, letting them know that they can go in and have it fixed now. There you go. Awesome. So now we're getting somewhere now. We're getting these recalls that are happening fixed, right? So this is a good thing. All right. This is the last one. All right. This is also an advance notice to safety recall 23S is in safety 55 on 2020 to 2022 model year Explorers. This has to do with the rear axle bolt fracture. Man, I feel like we've talked about this already. Yeah, we have. All right. This has to do. This affects 236,761 vehicles. Which is crazy. And it could be plugins as well, or I mean hybrids, because it is at the show center as well. So,
all right.
SHO. Anyway, this in here, in some of the affected vehicles, the rear axle bolt may fracture. A fractured rear axle bolt will allow the rear axle housing to move out of position, resulting in a severe noise and vibration. If the rear axle bolt breaks, the drive shaft or half shafts may become disconnected, resulting in a loss of transmission torque to the rear wheels. Of course, transmission torque is necessary to hold the vehicle in park and is also needed for the vehicle to move forward or backward. So, and it says owners of the record will be notified via first class mail after repair instructions and parts ordering information have been provided to dealers. So they do not have this ready yet. So hopefully you're not affected by this so that your vehicle stays in park. So there you go.
All right.
That is that. Recalls.
All right.
So, and there's several advanced notices of recalls in here. So, but there you go. Any questions about those?
Not really. I prompted someone to look up the last year that the C-Max was produced. They said 2018. That is correct. I have a 2017. Fun fact, 2018, Ford started making the hybrids at the beep. When you back up, I have a 2017. Mine does not have the beep.
Do you have to roll down your window and go beep, 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 beep? Bad joke. All right. Any questions about that? Probably not. People don't have too many questions on recalls. All right.
Oh, no, Alan. I hope you get to feeling better.
All right. Let's move on to Is It True? All right. So this week, we actually had someone that commented on one of my F-150 videos. And this, so basically they said they went in to place an order with their local dealer for I believe it was a King Rancher Platinum, and they said that they will not. Basically, they said they won't get built until till the first quarter or second quarter of next year, and they won't get scheduled or anything or built. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. So I did reach out to the brand manager. So is it true for this? Is it true that the 2024 F-150 King Ranch and Platinums won't be scheduled until the Pro Access tailgate is available? Because that's what they were saying, is because on those two trim levels, it comes standard with the bed utility package, and on those trim levels, the bed utility package comes with the Pro Access tailgate. So if you guys didn't know this, that Pro Access tailgate is not available. It's a late availability item and will only be available on King Ranch Platinum and the trimmer with the 402A equipment group. So if you're wanting that Pro Access tailgate in a Lariat XLT, you're not going to get it, which I think is a mistake by Ford, in my opinion. But anyway, but this is not true. King Ranches and Platinums will get scheduled. They will just get built without the Pro Access tailgate until they become available. So just like with the trimmer, which is also not available right now, you won't be able to order those until that is. And I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they're having issues with orange paint. I don't know. I don't know. But by the way, the trimmer looks great in person. Saw it at the auto show in Detroit. But just so you know, right now we don't have an actual date for when the Pro Access tailgate is going to be available and the trimmer, but their goal is spring of 24, they said. So, and then anytime you see a season or a quarter, like when they say quarter, if they say fourth quarter, don't expect it in October, folks. They say fourth quarter, expect it in December. If they see a season, expect it on the last day. So remember, first day of spring is what? March 20 something?
I think so.
So when they say spring, don't expect it before March until the first day of spring. But more than likely, you're looking in the middle to when they say spring of 24, we're actually probably talking, what's the first day of summer? June? I wouldn't expect it any before May. But if it comes early, great. So that's just, I've been working again at the Ford dealer for about 22 years. I've learned some of these terminologies when they say things. They did that with the Maverick. They said, "Hey, hybrid Mavericks will be going out and be delivered to dealerships," and I think they said winter, right? Or fall. No, they said fall. Fall of 2020, whatever it was. It was in the fall. Well, guess what? They actually got shipped out before the first day of winter. So they said, "See, we got to it in fall because the first day of winter wasn't until December 21st or 20th, right?" And so they went out in December. So they got what they said they would do. So that's why they do that. That's why they don't give a tentative date, but they give seasons and they give quarters and such because they don't want to be tied to being to that. So that gives them a bigger window to keep it within, right? So
Ghosting,
I'm learning the politics here.
Yeah, I have questions pulled aside. So if we haven't answered them, it's because we either are answering later or what are you pointing at?
It says questions tag at Sarah Davis.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So if you have questions, want us to answer them live, there you go.
I am
tag
pulling them
at
aside.
Sarah Davis, and we're getting into questions. I have my topic for tonight, the title of the live stream there that I need to cover tonight. So,
but most likely, if we haven't answered it yet, I'm saving it for Q&A because it hasn't pertained to a topic that we have gone over yet, or I know we're covering it.
I do like to cover, like, if people have questions about scheduling and they have an order and they're wanting, they want questions specifically about scheduling. I like to kind of cover that right afterwards, or recalls right afterwards, because what I like to do with that is if you have questions about that, I include that in the video that I put out as a separate video. So, because other people may have the same questions, and then that way I can put that together within that video. So that's why we kind of like to separate those out.
Yeah.
So. But it's just specific questions overall, then we can cover that at the end as well. All right. So let's get in to tonight's topic. Each week I'll tell you, a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to talk about during this segment until like Tuesday morning. Sometimes Monday night, I'm like, okay, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? I don't always have it. The members can tell you, because I do a lot walk, and I'll go, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about this week. You guys give me some ideas. So this week, this actually came about this morning. So So basically, just like the title says, how Ford is using our driving habits to make better vehicles. So I thought this is good because I got some information on the F-150 Lightning, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, that clued me into the fact that, hey, you know what? Ford is able to do a lot of things and learn a lot of things by how we use our vehicles, whether it be driving or whether it be how we connect our vehicles, our phones to our vehicles, and such, and different technologies we're using with that they give us, and how we're using this technology. So I thought this would be a really good topic because Ford has one of the purposes behind Ford getting the new Sync 4 and 4A into the vehicles is a Sync 4A allows communication back and forth. So not only can we're going to get over there updates for software things to so that we don't have to trade vehicles in to get new features, but also they learn our driving habits through that as well. So please, when you get that, there is actually something in there. I think it's already set up from the factory. Don't deactivate it. When it says, can we, relay information to Ford? That's actually information that helps because
Yes,
then
it
they
helps
know how
improve.
people are using their vehicles. So let me give you some examples. So Ford does have a team on this that evaluates this. They're called the Always On Task Force, and their goal is to see how people are using their vehicles to get the best driving experience. For your vehicles, for their customers, right? And some of these features that we've seen is Bliss, which I think is one of my favorite features. I've been saying this for years. Knowing that there's someone in my blind spot, or as I back up, that someone's coming behind me that I didn't notice if I look that way, and I'm like, oh, I'm safe, and I back up, or maybe I look left and right and I back up, and then all of a sudden it starts beeping. I'm like, where did they come from? Well, they came from over there because they were going down a parking lot 20 miles an hour in a 5-mile-an-hour zone, right? That kind of stuff happens. And so I love the Bliss. Also, pre collision assist. I mean, it doesn't take a second before that car's stopped. Maybe we're not paying attention for you to stop. Adaptive cruise control with lane centering. A lot of people love that. Some people are like, I know somebody commented early in the live stream, about this, saying, well, I wish we just go back to people driving their own vehicles and such, instead of having all these technologies do half the stuff for us. But really, I feel like it's more of a safety precaution than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, adaptive cruise control isn't that I can't drive my own vehicle. I mean, we could say this. We could say, why did we create cruise control? 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not that we can't drive our vehicles and put our foot on the pedal and such for 3 hours while driving. It's that it allows for a better experience by not having to do that. Uh, Adaptive cruise control is the same way. It's more of a convenience than it is necessarily that I can't do it myself, right? Lane centering, I love that lane centering. Some of those technologies, or Blue Cruise, right? Hands-free driving. Just, I mean, if you haven't driven a vehicle with Blue Cruise on a trip, you need to do it once, and you will have a different feeling on how awesome that feature is.
Yes.
The Pro Trailer Backup Assist and the Hitch Assist, right? And can I back up my trailer myself? Yeah, I can, but I'm going to be better at it using the system, backing up to a hitch, that kind of thing. Anyway, this connectivity between our phone with the audio, because not everybody uses their audio the same. My wife likes using the Sirius XM satellite radio. I like connecting my phone in and using my Spotify. Everybody uses theirs differently. Navigation. Some people like the on screen navigation that the vehicle comes with and are willing to pay for the subscription for it. I like the Android Auto and the Google Maps, and that's what I use on my trips,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So learning, but as we use these different technologies, Ford is able, with the Sync 4 and 4A, to get this information back to them of how people are using this technology, which is why we have seen some changes. Let's talk about Blue Cruise for a second. So Blue Cruise 1.0, that's been out for a little while on the Mach-E. Came out in the F-150 on your I think your limited edition and platinum and some of those, on your Lightnings, now in your Expedition Platinum editions as well. I'd like to see it roll out in more vehicles. And Ford found out that there were a couple different reasons why people had to take over the steering, on their vehicle. And one of them was when they needed to change lanes, because the Blue Cruise system didn't do that for them. They had to take over, switch lanes, and then let it take back over again. And the other was, I've had this happen when you're beside a big truck that's right on that line and you don't feel comfortable being that close to the line, and that your mirror might get knocked, by the car beside you, that you want to take over and move it over just a little bit. I want a little bit of space between me and that vehicle. Those were a couple different reasons of why Blue Cruise 1.2 was created, because they realized that that is when people took over their vehicle, was for those two situations. 1.3 is being created because people feel a little nervous on some tight curves. So they've made it to where now it's going to slow you down a little bit going on those curves, so that the system can keep being engaged and you don't want to take over the steering wheel. So that's an example of how getting that data back from how people are using their Blue Cruise made them get better systems and better technology. And what's great about it is not only can the system get the data, but can give it back to us. So we're seeing Jeff has a 23 Mach-E with Blue Cruise 1.1. He will get the over-the-air update to upgrade him to Blue Cruise 1.2. I think about all those are done now. He might have received his by now, and they're going to start rolling out the 1.3 onto the Mach-Es as well. All your Lightnings, 22 and 23s, will also get updated with Blue Cruise 1.2 somewhere around by the first of the year, is what I've been told. So being able to then update and use the system, having that over-the-air update allows if it's any software that needs to be updated, we're going to get those updates without having to trade our vehicles in and get the new technology, which is really awesome. So you're like, oh, I want the 1.2. Do I have to trade my vehicle in and get a 24 Mach-E to get it? Nope. You're going to get it in the software update. Some of the others that I noticed recently, one is on the Lightning. So something that I was educated on this week was that the 22 and 23 Lightning extended ranges were getting the dual onboard chargers. That allowed, and I think maybe in the standard range, what that did was the dual onboard charger allowed for AC converted to DC charging for those level 2 chargers. And we're talking about those home chargers, like the 80 amp Ford Charge Station Pro. That allowed for that to be faster, so you could charge in a couple hours at home instead of having to wait overnight or something like that, right? So I asked the brand team about this and said, why did we take this off and such? And they said, well, it doesn't change your fast charging on the road. If it's already a DC charging coming into the vehicle, you're still going to get DC. It just can't convert the dual charger. Having a single onboard can't convert the AC to DC. The only way you would see that affected is at a level 2 charger where it's AC coming through and you want it to speed up to DC. So they said, according to that the Ford found that a single onboard charging would meet 91% of daily driving needs. So they found that most people weren't using and installing that 80 amp charger.
Yeah.
They didn't say that, but that was my impression on what they were saying, is that a lot of residents can't handle the 80 amp charger, which is another reason why they're not including it this year in your extended range Lightnings. So it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So learning how, and because of that, they can probably make more Lightnings if they're not putting a dual onboard charging in every single one of them, right? Also, we're seeing them simplify some builds too. They're learning more people want some of these technologies. So F-150 2024 gas version and hybrid F-150s. We're seeing now XLT comes standard with 360-degree camera. You can get Blue Cruise now.
Yeah.
We're seeing standard 12-inch touchscreens and simplifying it to the point where on your F-150s, all of them will have the same setup. 12-inch productivity screen, 12-inch center stack screen makes things production easier, so they can make more vehicles and get more vehicles into people's driveways and get them faster. Doing things like that. We're seeing a lot of that. They did, and again, simplifying the Lightning. So we do see this year, instead of having 2 different equipment groups on the XLT and the Lariat trim, they've gone to just one on each of those, and they included a trim level so that your 312A is now your flash. So making it to where, here you go, and here's 5 options. What do you want? Any of these options? I mean, if you looked at it, when you start seeing the videos I'm doing this week, and showing you what all is standard on the Lightnings for the different trim levels. And really, there's only other than your bed accessories, there's only 5 options. And that's floor liners happens to be one of them. On board, you want the max trailer tow package. Great. Okay, we add that. And then other than that, do you want the subscription for Blue Cruise for 3 years? You can add that. Other than that, there's the 9.6 kilowatt Pro Power on board. That's it. Make it simple. I mean, Tesla's been doing it this way for years, and that's why they sell so many and can make so many. Just simplify things. So anyway, that's what I had to. That was on my mind that I thought might help. And if you think it's just those updates are only happening to your EVs, you're wrong. So check this out. I actually got something that came out today. Was here are some software updates that's been happening for Sync 4 vehicles. And so let me go through some of them. So 21, 22, and 23 Broncos have had improvements to the rearview camera, the over-the-air update scheduling, flat towing, phone is a key, which didn't even know you can get phone as a key on those. And Apple CarPlay, and maybe you can't yet, but it will get it eventually. And then also new features like Wi-Fi captive portal, it says. In fact, all the vehicles, Edge, Escape, Expedition, F-150, Lightning, Mach-E, Super Duty, and Transits all have all those same updates as well. But also the Edge got Sync 4A design update, phone is a key as well, and record feedback. That's where they're getting that feedback back. Expedition also has dual phone as an update to theirs. F-150 also got improvements to the trailer and tailgate settings, which also the Super Duty did get some updates to that as well. Lightning also got DC fast charging updates and video streaming updates, and the Mach-E got DC fast charging updates as well as games. They updated the games. Anyway, and then also on the Transit dynamic resizing. So a lot of vehicles now have Sync 4, Sync 4A to be able to relay that, but also update your vehicles. So, which is pretty cool. So anyway, there you go. Kind of went on that for a little while, but I think that's. I mean, when you think about it, that's cool. It's how Ford is able to is using some of that information to make vehicles better, and which is why Ford Blue Cruise is the #1 driver assist feature out there, or driving or not autonomous driving, but cruise control. It's #1. It beat out Tesla's 7, and Ford's #1. So pretty cool. Anyway,
I mean, I've seen 2 Teslas now that are on highways.
Yeah.
They've been swerving.
So question is, does Kia EV6 have any kind of cruise control like that? I'll find out.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm getting a Turo EV6. So they're going to pick me up at the airport, and I get to drive that for a couple of days. So to the Bronco off rodeo, as well as I'm going to go to the Hoover Dam. So I'll find out. We'll see how it drives. Anyway.
I wish CDs were still in existence too. I have a whole collection. Levo has a whole collection.
All right. Questions? Comments?
Of course. All right.
Bring them on.
Okay. Should all 23 to 24 Maverick carryover orders be a priority too?
Yes. If you had a 23 order and it's carried over to 24, then it should be a priority too. If it is not, then there's a couple reasons why. One is either the COVP wasn't approved yet. Could be one reason why not. But we had some that were a little delayed in getting approvals, and so they didn't. They had 2 batches that they converted a bunch over at once because they wanted to make it easier on themselves. So they converted a batch over and then did a second batch. But now at this point, if as a dealer, like we had 3 or 4 that weren't priority 2, and I'm like, those should get priority 2. They're COVP approved. They're the same order number and everything. They looked them up and they said, yep, they're priority 2s now, and they flipped them over for me. We have 3 or 4 that aren't priority 2 that are new orders, and that's because we haven't submitted COVP because the customers never called us back to get the signatures. We have to have new signatures on all that. And so if you're a customer out there and yours isn't priority 2 and you're like, why is mine not? Did you sign the paperwork for them to submit new COVP approvals? Because that has to be redone. That's probably why you're not priority 2, and also why you probably don't have an offer. So you might look and see if they have the offer too. So
All right. Ordered my Bronco Raptor 32723. Took delivery today. Do I qualify for price protection? Dealership did COVP and saying they will send me a check back in 30 days if it qualifies.
okay, so depends on how they ordered. So if they actually submitted the order in Webdo for you as a retail order, then yes, what the price was when you ordered is the price that they should be selling it to you for. They will be reimbursed back from Ford 45 to 60 days later. If, because some dealers do it this way, instead of putting the order in, they wait for the allocation and then they put the order in. At that time, it's whatever it was when they put that order in. And sometimes they'll put them in as a stock order. Like for us, if we'll get allocations, and if we don't have a retail order, then we need to fulfill the allocation with the stock order. So then we'll put the stock order in. And then at that point, it's going to be whatever it is when it comes in, because it wasn't ordered by you. It was ordered by us because we had an allocation. So depends on how it was ordered, but it sounds like you put your order in. So yes, they should have given you price protection. So, and this is not new, folks. This has been going on for a long time. Every one of you, when you place your order in the order bank, that is the price you should be protected to. If it carries over to another model year, that's different. They are not going to protect you to the exact price. That's why you have private offers, just to make that difference and any price increases throughout that last year, right? So,
when do we think the Maverick will either get a facelift or redesign? Don't know.
25. Usually it's every 3 years, so I'll just say that. So, but
called your dealership about one of your stock diesel trucks. Kind of crazy. You keep saying how great your dealer is, but they won't sell me a truck with A plan.
okay, hold on.
I didn't answer that in the chat because I wasn't sure about
A plan.
Yeah.
We can do A plan.
On diesel, Super Duty. I was unsure. I thought at some point that we weren't doing X plan or any of the.
It's a stock diesel truck.
Yes.
You can double check on that. Email me.
Email us.
Yeah, email us, because I mean, we should be able to still do that. We can't give you like if you do A plan, we cannot do anything else with that. We can't do any other discounts or anything for free. So it has to be, you have to sell it at what it is on the invoice and no other price. You can't like there are people wanting to know if I'll do the lightning offer of 2,000 off with A plan. Nope, I can't do that. It's A plan or 2,000 off MSRP, one or the other. I can't do both. So, but
we're off MSRP on our Super Duties.
Yeah, we're $2,000 below MSRP.
So
I don't see why we wouldn't do an A plan for you. So
yeah, especially since we have a bunch of that we need to get rid of quickly.
Yeah, we got a bunch of.
Yeah.
We have
a bunch of Lariats.
We had 9 that just came in.
Yeah.
And
but
over the weekend.
We have more Lariats than anything. So if you want Lariat, we got a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, email us, Sarah Davis at McArthur.com or timothybarts@gmail.com, or give us a call and ask for Tim or me, and we will get you. We'll figure it out for you.
We'll find out what the deal is on that, and there might be more to that. It may be a certain, if it's one of our stock ones that's on our website, I don't see why we wouldn't honor A plan on those.
Yeah.
Like
I was unsure about that.
We can't do free shipping with it again. So if you do that, you'd have to pay for it. And then the whole goal behind A plan and X plan was you go to your local dealership and you work with them. You don't go to a dealership across the country typically. So in that case, you would have to pay for your own expense to get it to you, or
come down
and get it and take it, drive it home. But anyway, but we should be able to do A plan on one.
But I was unsure about that because I thought at one point we weren't doing.
I mean,
XYZ blah 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 plan on Super Duty.
Unless Super Duty doesn't have D plans, which or A plan or D or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless
the plans.
unless oops, wrong page. curious. We don't need to go on for just email us. But
yeah,
I'm going to look up. But I think that as long as D plan is available on that vehicle, we should. Now, dealers don't have to honor it. We don't have to. Like, I know we weren't doing. I know Ford wasn't doing X plan on Model E's, or like Lightnings and such. But
yeah.
Anyway, So, but
All right, I'll
I'll
answer
pull
this
it up.
next one while you're doing that. Will the UAW strike delay delivery of the Maverick?
Nope.
Nope. At
Uh,
this time, none of the
no.
strikes are affecting anything that helps Maverick get built, or the delivery of your Maverick. So it depends on what area of the U.S. you are in, or where you are, that kind of
Oops.
differs on delivery time. For instance, we have a member in California. It took him just a few weeks to get it, or like maybe a week or two to get it.
Okay.
For us, it takes us about 4. So it really depends where you are in the country. It depends on how long it takes to get to you, depending on where you are in the country. So,
All right.
yeah.
So I looked up a Super Duty.
Okay.
Of course, depending on what it is, this is a cabin chassis. So we can look at like one of those that's on our website. If I can find one, I'm just on locator here. But the cabin chassis, okay, yeah. So it does depend on the Super Duty. So there are some Super Duties that don't qualify, that you can't do an A plan or D plan. Looks like this one here I'm pulling up. So if it was ordered as a stock, then yes, you can do A plan, Z plan, and D plan. But if it was ordered as a retail, then I don't think you can unless it was ordered that way. So we have a chassis cab one that can't get it. This in here happens to be an XLT that's coming in or is here, one or
We
the
have
other.
one here. Let me see it. What's the order number?
G816.
That one came in today.
That one's available for AZ plan. So it might have been that they looked up the particular one you were interested in. And we do have like an F600 that probably would not get it. But if you're looking at like a 250, 350, then it probably would. Yeah. Because the first one I looked at was an F600. So they are not available for plan pricing because the chassis
was,
cabs
I believe,
are not.
ordered fleet originally.
No,
No,
I don't think so. No, they don't order theirs fleets because they're not ordered for. Yeah. But anyway,
600.
Yeah, that one wasn't ordered fleet, but because I think it's a chassis cab, it does not qualify for A. So there you go.
Sworn that was one of Bill's.
So it depends on the one. So if you're looking for 250, 350, you should be able to get A plan, D plan. But if it's that F600, then no. So again, that's probably the situation that I need to be apprised on which one you're looking at.
Give us a call. We'll certainly get you figured out.
Yep.
All right, onwards. When will Ford schedule my 24 F450 XLT truck? I've only been waiting since March.
You might look and see what else you have on there. We know that 450, because of like those wheels and such, is a part issue. I mean, we went through all the different things that were constrained on the 4, and a lot of them had to do with 450, right? So it could be just because it's taking a little while. Now, you didn't order a 24 450 in March because the order banks weren't open up, but you did order a 23, and I know what you're saying there. But once 23, you had to put in a new order for 24. So it kind of not really starts over. Hopefully your dealership prioritized your order, gave you a lower priority number. But you might look and make sure there's none of the constraints we talked about on your order, right? So that can affect it.
Yep.
Do you have the high output diesel engine? Those are taking longer because so many people want that new high output diesel engine that those are taking longer to schedule because there's so many people that want that engine, but yet the capacity is 10% on that engine.
Yeah.
So flip over to the other diesel and you'd probably get it quicker.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the difference between F350 and F450?
Somebody said earlier 100. Doing my math. Difference means subtraction. No, it does. The axles, the leaf springs. How many leaf spring that are in there? It beefs it up so it can handle and tow more. Mm-hmm. So,
I was going to say the power.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, you can get F350 dually, right? And F350 dually and F450 dually is the biggest difference. Is of course, F350s will come with the standard rear stabilizer bar, but then also you get upgraded, suspension for the F450 to be able to handle more, right? And tow more. So,
yeah.
All right.
I wonder what the price difference of assembling a Maverick in the lower 48 with UAW labor versus Hermosillo labor would be.
I think when we were talking about that, we were talking about the escapes and some of that when I was kind of going on about, some of these are going to be built outside and we're going to stop making some SUVs, smaller SUVs and such.
Yeah.
There you go. That was during that I highlighted it.
I was looking at Broncos. I wish I could have got one at MSRP.
We have them below MSRP right now
We
on our
do.
website. So
yeah, KBR.
Check out our website. I mean, we do have right now a Badlands 2-door that's below MSRP on our website. So
yes,
they're coming down. Most dealerships, it is again turn and earn. So we're going to see more of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Onward we go. Ridgeview said, by adding the keypad to the 23 Maverick order, which was carried over to 24, does that jeopardize my private offer and change the price?
It'll change your price because you added that, right? But it won't change your price, your offer.
Private offer.
It won't change your private offer, and it won't jeopardize anything there. So no.
All right. Dealer invoice on 22 EcoSport was under 20K. It seems like a long time ago that a 22 XL Maverick MSRP was $19,995.
And we had actually talked about that at the time. I'm like, what would you rather have, an EcoSport with this much storage in the back, or would you rather have a Maverick for the same price, right?
Yeah.
But even for a little while, EcoSport did creep up there into the 20s, and we had to, our last ones, we had to we lost money on them. We lost money on them to sell them. But
my husband tried to convince me to get one.
Those things are tiny.
No EcoSport for me. I can barely make it my C-Max.
Well, at the time, back in 22, and EcoSport and a Maverick, you can get one for about the same price.
Yeah. I had to get storage bins over the weekend because I cleaned out my shed and we needed to organize. They did not fit in the trunk of my C-Max. And usually we're like, okay, yeah, everything fits in the C-Max. We can make it work. Well, not when you have car seats in there. Can't just lay the seat down. Don't have anywhere to put the car seats. Well, I guess I could take them out. It's a whole thing at that point. So I was like, okay, I'll put them in the back seat. Car seats are in the way. So I was like, okay, passenger seat. I had to push that all the way back and lay it all the way down and unbuckle a car seat to get them into my car. And I had no passenger side view.
Those had to have been some big tubs.
They're 40 gallon.
Yeah, they're big and awkward.
Big and awkward, yeah.
Still.
I miss my Maverick. I need a Maverick. So, all right. How much does it cost and how long does it take to have Maverick shipped from McArthur to North Cali? I think right now they're quoting at 25 cents or $1.25. Is it?
I don't know.
I want to say $1.25 per mile.
Well, that's what it had been.
Yeah.
We usually we send it out and see what the quote comes back. So
yeah.
once it comes in,
she can quote what the average is right now, but we like to wait until your vehicle gets here because it can change depending on time of year, where it's going. Can we get a shipper at that point? So, and I know you're going to Cali, and I think hers will probably be here in December-ish. Late November, December-ish. Yeah,
I don't remember when it's being. I think it's being built,
but it's
been built in November, so it'll be here in December. Sometime.
Okay, so there's factors that go into it. We can give you a somewhat of a quote, but it may change.
Yeah.
All right, Ford Lightning has that really cool feature with the inverter to power your home. Feel like the EV companies need to steal that idea. Yeah, Lebo saw Rivian. Rivian doesn't do that, do they? They don't have plugins.
Well, okay, so you're supposed to, if you want to use what Ford advertised, how you can power your home, you have to have a thing that switches the power going from in your house over to where it's pushing power in instead of power out. That's the home installation system. You have to pay for that, which is like thousands of dollars to get that. But I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I did? I mean, the last time we had the power out, I had the lightning, and
Yeah.
I actually just plugged into the bed. I
Yeah.
turned it on, plugged into the bed, and I just used some cords to plug in like the
Yeah.
refrigerator and a couple lights, so you could go easy like that. Or even if you wanted to just treat yours like a generator in a sense, you could do that
Yes.
too and plug into the 240 and have a 240 going into your house. If you have one of those generator plugs for your house,
Yeah.
you just flip it and you could do that as well and just use the truck that way, which is the cheaper way of going. Um,
Yes.
if the
Yeah.
Rivian had a 240, they could do the same thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think they do though. I
Yeah.
don't think they have a 240 in there. I
Where
think they're
were
just outlets
where
and
was
there's
I? I was somewhere, and I think it was Chris. Chris was like, I saw a really cool car. It had a star on it. I'm like, a Polestar? He goes, is that what it is? Like, yes, that's a Polestar. That's an EV. And then right down the road, he's like, what's that? I'm like, that's a Rivian. It's a truck. He goes, yeah, looks like Tesla. I'm like, it's not. It's Rivian. So,
Although, did you hear about the customer that used to had a Flex for us for years? They drove a Flex, and then they got a Rivian R1S, and they were at Western Kansas, and they had this hailstorm, and they know those are glass roofs, and the hailstorm broke the roof, and they had to like hold it up until they could pull off the road. And they're saying it'll be 6 months before it can get fixed.
oh my gosh.
So it's like, so I don't know. Though evidently the roofs aren't made. I mean, we've had all
Well,
the other one. We have a lot of them with glass roofs and such, and with
yeah.
like mach-es, and we haven't had any of them.
Yeah.
Evidently, they're thicker. So
That or we have more points, because if you look at like the, you know what I'm talking about, in the Lincolns where it's the full roof,
yeah,
they have support bars throughout it.
yeah,
So it's not just a full, it might be
glass.
a full piece of glass, but it has lots of support within it to help withstand it. So
Yeah.
who knows? Why isn't the blind spot warning on your dash screen? I can't see it on the mirrors because I'm paying attention to the road in front of me.
Okay, so well, here's the reason is that usually if you're switching lanes, you don't need to. I mean, you would want it in the mirror because typically most people will look in their side mirror before moving over into that lane.
Yes.
That's why they're in the mirrors.
Yeah.
Um,
Because, I mean, you're already looking over. That's for changing lanes, basically. So if you're changing lanes, you should be looking at your mirror, look over, glance.
to look and see your
Yeah.
blind spot or
Now,
look over.
adding a light just adds a little flicker. It draws your attention to the light. And so instead of having to look all the way over, you get drawn to the flicker of light and you're like, oh, someone's there. Okay.
Well, and
Go
also
over.
on the Ford vehicles, if you put your turn signal on because you're wanting to move over before you switch
Yeah.
lanes, it'll blink.
Yes.
It'll flash at
It'll
you.
flash at you. So it's
So
more of a
most people will look in their mirror.
yeah. And I've gotten into the habit, I have it, of keeping an eye for that color. It's a color that you usually wouldn't see.
It's amber, yeah.
It's an amber light. And so it's something like a Christmas light and it catches my attention. So all right. The building price shows Maverick is currently being leased. Is that true?
XLT and Lariats,
Yes.
not XLs.
Yeah. All right. Do you know how extensive the trailer tow install is going to be on the 24 Bronco?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that difficult. So I think they're gonna be pre-wired back. So they're gonna because what they added to the order guide this year was that there's gonna be trailer wiring prep package or something like that, or trailer prep pack is what they call it. Is standard equipment on all of your Broncos, which I think, and they're not telling you what's included in that, of course, but from what I can take, it's the wiring because we actually saw some instructions that, hey, for all these vehicles that are DIO, dealer installed option hitch, for the Broncos, it's going to include. They said it includes the wiring harness, the wiring connector, and the hitch. So you put the hitch, you'll just bolt the hitch in, and then the wiring harness that has to be like put in place, and then I think you just plug the wire in. So I don't think it'll be that extensive. They're only giving them like 1.3 hours of labor for it, so it shouldn't be too extensive for them to do that and for them to put it in. But
Okay.
you go. But it's gonna these service departments. See, for us, we have one person that sets up our vehicles, and when they come in, they don't have a lot of DIOs, so they can set vehicles up, and he can set like 6 to 8 of them up in a day. Easy peasy, right? Well, now we're seeing more and more of these options that Ford doesn't want to put on, and so like we'll just have the dealership install all those. Well, now we're going to need another tech just to install DIOs on all these vehicles between the keypads and the hitches
Well,
and all these other
and
things.
most dealers usually probably go with the old system of everyone gets one a day.
But still, if you're a tech and you're like, okay, you have to set, like right now, Tony is actually he's at training. So we
Yes.
have that's what they're doing. There's
Right.
one there's like 6, we have what, 8, I think, Super Duties in the drive right now, or 6 or something.
Yeah.
Right. And they're in there. So in the morning they have to set one of them up. Well, then if they have a DIO for one, I like that Tony does it because he knows,
Yes.
hey, this has a DIO. Did you look and see if this has a DIO?
Yes.
Which I'm probably gonna have to go through all those vehicles just to make
Right.
sure. But then let's say something takes an hour. Well, something that they thought was only take them 30 minutes to set up and check the oil, put on the antenna, all these
Yeah.
other things,
Is
now
now taking an
turned
hour.
into a 2-hour job first
Yeah.
thing in the morning.
So
That's not
yeah.
gonna go over very great.
So it may be prudent that dealerships move to having a system like us where we have one guy doing all of our
Mhm.
preps,
Yeah.
getting them put together, because it's going to be more of a consistent feeling, and the techs that are trying to earn money by doing their jobs can get to their jobs quicker.
Okay. But this is what I'm saying is we need a second person
Yes.
because
Yeah.
we have 50 Mavericks coming in. Let's say all those had DIO
Yes.
dealer installed option keypads.
Then you have to stop.
Now, and let's say that's an hour to do that. So now you have an hour job on top of setting it up. You're going to need a second person just to set vehicles up.
Well, and like you were saying, he pulls all of the DIOs as soon as they come into parts. He's like, "Oh, okay, I need that one. I need that.
Yeah.
I need that." He has a system,
Yeah.
so he knows exactly where all these parts are. He knows exactly what's going in them. He gets it done. It's a lot more organized when one person's doing it, or if we had two, then one's taking care of one thing and the other one the other, right? So, things to think about.
Yeah. Well, and like here's Ragnarcon. I know you had one highlighted. You might have to go back and highlight that. So Ragnarcon says, I do think Ford charging only $500 for the trailer tow package with a 1.5 hour service is a bit of a ripoff for the dealers. And it kind of is, because the hitch itself, I think you can get like a hitch. What I think Ford's hitch is a couple $100, and then the wiring probably 100. So you're talking probably parts alone is about $300, $250, $300, and then an hour and a half labor. I don't know. Maybe that's. I mean, but again, that's a job if you have to put a hitch on, and let's say it takes an hour, and a lot of times Ford pays you for hours, even if you can get it done faster. Like, okay, so my dad was a transmission guy for Ford for years, for a Ford dealer, and he got really good at working on transmissions, and he could do 2 a day and what Ford would say is you get paid 8 hours to do a transmission. He could do 2 a day. He was making pretty good money because he was really efficient and really good at what he did. So these jobs are, like, well, Tony told me the bed lighting for the Maverick. He said the first one he did took him like all day to do one. He got faster at it, and now he can get it down to 2 hours, but they still don't pay you 2 hours labor for that.
No.
Anyway, what Ford needs to do is they need to get people in here in the techs and actually do a DIO to see how long it really takes them, because they're not paying. A lot of the times they won't pay enough. Some of these they might be able to get it quicker, and that's fine. But we'll just see.
All right. What are my chances that if I wait to order the Platinum F-150 tailgate in the spring, the Platinum might have part shortages by then? Or do you think things are going to get better?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a hard one. And we actually this year, I mean, we did see early on, we saw a lot of things being removed from those trucks, but we did see those come back in towards the end of the year as well. So here's going to be another hitch that we're going to have to probably face is because of the strikes. We also have people being laid off, right? And so because there's strike, these places that provide parts to us, possibly parts for some of these things, for the seats and all that, they could have parts issues because right now they don't need them, so they're going to lay off those people. What happens when they comes back? We're going to be in an I feel like it's going to be like COVID all over again in a sense, or post COVID, where it's going to take a while to ramp up production again, for these suppliers. So I'm already seeing that probably, in 6 months, 9 months, we're going to probably see some part shortages again because the suppliers that supply these, remember, these are assembly plants. They just put vehicles together. They don't
Yes.
actually make half these parts. There's companies that make them for them. And if they're on strike for too long, these companies will go out of business. So be prepared. Will you see heated seats even available in the future? Because the companies that make the heated seat modules and everything could go out of business. Or
Yep.
will manufacturers take those on themselves and say, you know what? We'll take it on. We'll take it in house.
Yep.
Anyway, something to think about.
All right.
Right.
Maverick is in production, but Windows sticker is still not available. And he's secret handshake to see the sticker. So I found that I can see it if it's from a different dealer, I can see it once it's been released from the factory on my end. I am looking at a different system than you guys are looking at, but from what I've been hearing from other people, you can't see them. So I think enough people need to start complaining to Ford customer service that they can't see these window stickers because I think their system is not working correctly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I looked up some that they were like, I can't see it. And I'm like, well, let me check. And I looked it up and I can see it. So it would be possible that you should be able to see it, but their system may not be working correctly and they don't know. So
Yeah.
if you can't see your window sticker, you're trying to see it, call Ford customer service and let them know.
Yeah.
All right. If someone purchased a car through you with all the options they want, could the vehicle be transported to their local dealer for pickup?
Okay. So if that's called a drop ship or courtesy delivery, you have to set that up before it gets scheduled.
Yes.
Which reminds me, we need to call. There's a phone number we need to call on Ty's customer.
Okay.
But yeah, so that needs to be. You need to put that. You need to contact. That needs to be set up ahead of time. So it takes some communication between the dealer and the delivering dealer, the courtesy delivery dealer. They charge for a fee for that. And so you can't have that done. So we especially some of our customers in Hawaii, we were doing that, working with the dealership in Hawaii. They were charging arm and a leg, but still, at least that was a lot cheaper than trying to transport it from here to Hawaii. But we had that going on for a little while too. And so you have to work with them. If they're okay with it, get everything in writing in an email form and all that. And then their dealer code has to be put into the order before it gets scheduled. Once it gets scheduled, that can't be done anymore. You can you can add some things to your order, but that is one thing you cannot change once it schedules.
But we can also you can order with us. We can have it brought to us. We'll take care of it. We'll set it up. We'll do the paperwork with you, and then we can ship it to you, to your location that of your choosing. You can choose to meet them like at a Walmart parking lot. I wouldn't necessarily choose another dealer, but some people choose a Walmart parking lot or a public place or their home specifically. So you can order with us and then we can ship it directly to you.
Yeah, but that's so we wouldn't, when we say we're shipping it to you, we're not shipping it to your dealer, we're shipping it actually to you.
Yes.
So
more on Diane's questions. Can the Bronco Sport be specifically ordered with a 6-cylinder engine? Would Ford do a build like that upon request?
No. So Ford has an order guide, and that is the only way. Based on those order guides are the only configurations that they will build, so that you can't do a one-off in a sense. There's no way to do it. So they will not build it that way. They're an assembly plant, and then assemble it based on how you order the vehicle.
Yes. All right. I was going through some of these, making sure we aren't missing any questions. Please put at Sarah Davis so that way it catches my eye. Alcone Ford Inc. I'm going to Bronco Raptor Off Rodeo 2 next year.
You should go to the dealer one with me. Sign up. I'll be there in Vegas.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
And that's happening right before Bronco Nation does their
Yeah, so that's
Takeover.
what is it? The 25th and 26th. I'm doing the 26th in the afternoon. The afternoon session. But if you haven't looked, there's a thing that came out today, came out last week. We talked about it, but
Yes.
also they did another dealer memo today. Check that out, because if you want, dealers can go, and it's a half day. It's a condensed session. It's a quick
Yeah.
one, but you do get a chance to drive the Bronco Raptor for $100
Yes.
plus the
So,
cost to get there, which I'm already going to be there for SEMA.
So it
So,
makes
but that's
sense.
the 25th and 26th, and the takeover is the 30th,
Yeah.
which will be at SEMA that day,
Yeah.
getting media content. So,
Yep.
anyway, but yeah, you should go to that. It'd be cheaper.
Yep. And then you can
But she
see
gets
him.
they have a Bronco Raptor coming in, so she gets the full one, which is a lot better because it's an all day thing instead of just like a couple of hours. But
Yeah.
at least I'll get a chance to drive a Raptor, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know what the Ford Maverick APR is for excellent credit?
uh,
It's at standard rate still. Ford doesn't have any special APR at this time. So usually it's at 7.9.
well, it might be better now. I don't know. It always
Well,
changes each month, but
Well, I'm the one doing the impops. I'm doing the APRs on our Maverick. I just did one the other day. There's no special rates. And when I checked for best rate for 72 months, it was 7.9. So that's what they're putting in as the standard finance rate.
talk later.
Okay.
So Ford's rate sometimes it varies. So
Okay.
we do a certain rate because we know that that's something we can
Oh.
guarantee
Okay.
for certain terms,
Okay.
right?
Right.
It's sometimes they're better. So
Yeah.
just depends. I don't know what Ford's standard rate is right now, but there's no low APR rate is what it says.
Yes.
So,
No low. All right. Can I drive a Mustang GTT for $100? Can they come drive one of our Mustangs for $100?
I'll sell you one. Not for $100.
Yeah.
We don't charge for test drives. He said GTD.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to get it. We probably won't get a GTD.
All right. Do you think the 2025 Maverick will get rid of the cubby space and get a larger display?
Hopefully. I'm hoping Sync 4. Right?
Yes.
That'd be nice.
Yep. To note on the cubby space, people are accepting it and they are embracing it by adding things, but that does not mean that they would prefer you to remove the cubby space and add a larger screen. They might be embracing it and loving on it, but it doesn't mean that people would prefer a larger screen.
All right.
All right. PSA to Ford, please look over 23-24 MAV rollovers that missed out gaining priority 2 status due to dealers not having COVP approved by the priority deadline. Some dealers aren't correcting.
Okay, but they can now. So because order banks are still open, COVP can still be done on your order. So all the dealer needs to do is go in, make sure that COVP got done. Then they call and say, COVP is approved, verified. Can you switch it to priority 2? Upon request, they can do 1 or 2. What they were doing was there was a deadline for that because they wanted to bulk do it. Because remember, they had how many thousands that got carried over, right? It's a lot quicker if they did them in batches. But at this point, they can still do them on one-offs. So like I had 3, right? So I called them and said, hey, these 3 should be O2s. They have verified COVP because when the deadline happened, they weren't COVP. They were on hold. Since it wasn't approved, they didn't get the O2 with all the other orders, 200 orders we had. So I just called them and say, hey, now they are certified and verified. They weren't by the deadline, but can you go ahead and do it? And they did. So all they got to do is they got to communicate with people here and just and try it out.
Part, I think he was saying that his dealer isn't trying, like he's gotten the COVP in, but his dealer isn't trying to get it corrected.
Well, push him.
Push him.
Push them.
Annoy them.
Tell them, hey, I know for a fact, because I've talked to people with orders at other dealers, that I can still get the priority 2 because I had a 23 order. Is my orders, did you COVP my order? And find out if they submitted it.
Yep.
They can show you and pull up whether they did or not. So have them give you proof that they did. And then say, if it's been verified, then all you have to do is call your sales and inventory specialist, and they can flip it over to priority 2. It's not difficult. They just have to it's a little effort. In fact, it took me one email in 5 seconds to send that email and said, hey, I have this order. Here's the order number. Here's the body code. Here's the person's last name. These have COVP verified orders, and they had an order last year. Can you flip it over to O2? Boom,
Yep.
send an email out and wait. They'll fix it, and they'll send you back an email saying, yep, it's fixed. It's not hard. It doesn't take long.
Yep.
Little effort, dealers.
All right. Ford is going to use up all the 24 Maverick XL hybrid orders on fleet customers and let retail go unscheduled, it seems like.
No, I don't think so. We have 19 previewing this week of our XL hybrids. So I don't think, I think we'll be good.
All right. Maverick carryover. How will I be notified of my private offer? When you pick up the vehicle?
They can look it up now.
Yeah.
Under your name, you should be able to see that priority. So once they got the COVPs all done and they looked at it, the priority 2 and the offer should go hand in hand. So once that's done, you should be able to see it in there. So you can easily, and I can even pull your offer. So all I need is your information on how that order was submitted, like email address is the easiest one, or whatever, your information. Pull it, then I can actually see if the COV if you have the offer. If it's not there, then the dealer's going to need to come to make some phone calls, some emails to different people to get that pushed. So we had that happen a lot on Bronco and last year's Maverick offers. Some of those were not showing up.
Yeah.
We had to push it. We had to email our sales and inventory specialists and such to get it happened, and small occasions that might have to happen. So I haven't gone through ours yet. Probably something I should do, because they're going to start showing up in late November. So I got a couple months yet, but I need to go through those and make sure that they were, at least on the ones that are already scheduled, make sure that they're all showing up. Because we might have to, we like to try to be proactive. If they're not showing up, I go ahead and start doing emails ahead of time so that when it comes in, we can process paperwork faster. But anyway.
All right. Coming in late, did you talk about memo on exhausted XLs and limited XLTs? Is that only for December build dates?
We did do that. We did go over that. And again, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to learn more on the scheduling notes and how that looks. But again, what you're seeing is what somebody put out as a commodity constraint, right? For and such in the Maverick Truck Club. And even though it says exhausted and limited, doesn't mean they won't schedule any. Like I said, we have on XLs, they said I think it said limited availability on XLs, and we have 11 that are previewing. And XLTs, it said the same thing, and we have a bunch. I mean, well, heck, let me look at it.
While you're doing that, Martin says that he'll be in Vegas for a convention next week, but he can't stay for a few extra.
It's going to feel really weird for me to stay over the weekend when that event's on that Thursday, and then I'll be there by myself Friday with nobody to hang out with. But that'll be kind of weird. But yeah, I get that. All right. So what we have previewing, we have all different trim levels previewing. We have, so by the way, we have, I said I wasn't Intel, but we have 123 allocations. This week, we have 123 orders that are previewing. 19 of those are XLs. Ooh, are they all? Hold on a second. They're all EcoBoost. All of our XLs that are previewing are EcoBoost, folks. So that might be the kicker right there. So if you have a hybrid XL, we don't have any hybrid XLs. Now, XLT, we have 43 XLT orders that are previewing, both hybrid and EcoBoost. So again, they said that was a exhausted availability. Probably not. Lariat trim, we have 61 Lariats previewing. So as we can see there, and it's a mixture of both. Yeah, it's a mixture of both. So what we're seeing, and I loved being able to have a dealer like us where we can actually see in a grander scale instead of just one or two allocations, having a major amount that we can help educate other people. So what's happening here is when you break that down, there's more lariats that can be scheduled because I believe that wheel is what they're having issues with. So they're having part constraints with that wheel. So it's limited availability, but not it's not like it's not available at all. So we're going to see XLTs get scheduled. We're going to have a bunch of them, but more lariats will probably get scheduled this month or at least this next week because of that. So a dealer that let's say a dealer's out there and let's say all they have for retail orders is XLTs, they may not have their scheduled this week. They may they may hold off to next week and hope that parts come in next week. So again, those constraints are on a weekly basis, but they could carry over into multiple weeks depending on their supply chain, right? And the supplies. And Maverick is one of those. So there you go. We'll just have to see.
All right. So our last question. I ordered my 24 MAV. Sorry, not last question, but I ordered my 24 MAV, but still haven't received email from Ford. Dealership has my correct email address. Should I be concerned or just wait for it?
You can just keep checking back with your dealer. So like this week, most of the allocations will schedule this week. So having a conversation with your dealer of, hey, how many allocations do you have? I mean, some dealers will say, I can't tell you that number, right? For one, they might be embarrassed that it's one or two or whatever. But they can if they really want to. It's just their choice. The other is that asking that information and then asking, hey, like today and tomorrow, those orders get previewed. Now, just because it previews doesn't mean it schedules, because sometimes they look at them and they might preview tomorrow different orders than today. Doesn't necessarily mean you get scheduled, but it means if your order is being previewed, it means that it's not gonna doesn't have something on there that's a constraint, right? Because we do have some that are like, hey, we're not looking at that order, and we'll look at those orders, and it could be because of those tonneau covers, it could be for the splash guards, that kind of thing, right? Because if it has, like we're seeing XLT being limited availability or exhausted availability, right? But also if they have a splash guard along with that, now you got 2 or 3 things that are exhausted, right?
Yeah.
But one thing we're not seeing is hybrid is not exhausted, right? So, or limited. So anyway, so that's something to have those conversations with your dealer. Only they can really help with that. So look that up.
Is McArthur representing at the LA show this year?
I don't know if we're going to go to that. When was that? That's in November.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to see whether or not they're going to, I mean, if Ford's not going to have anything new.
Yeah.
I think we're to the point now, we going to auto shows. It's if there's something we can cover there and bring to people on our channel and such. A little disappointing that we covered quite a bit of things this last on the Detroit Auto Show and not getting a lot of views, which is a little disappointing. I mean, it was fun doing those videos and it covered some things, got to see things for the first time and talk about them and talk about how awesome they are and everything, and it's just not getting the views. So, so that's the other thing is I hate to spend. I mean, those trips cost a lot of money to fly there, hotel, everything else to get to those auto shows to cover footage. And then I hate too, like today, I noticed that somebody posted a Bronco build for SEMA, and I'm like, why are you doing that? I mean, there's media that's going there just to help cover things like that and get it out there, and then and then everybody gets to see it ahead of time. It's like, I mean, what's going to end up happening is media is going to stop going to those events because. Hey, it'll come out on social media and we can just cover it.
Well, I mean, we went to Detroit for the Mustang reveal, and we were standing there waiting for it to happen. While we're standing there, we got a text from our general manager, like, did you see the Mustang? It looks great. And we're like, hasn't started yet. Someone had leaked images before they had even released it.
Yeah, and that's...
So what's the point of going if you can just get those images?
Yeah, and that's kind of the feel... kind of some of these. So and we went Chicago. This year I wanted to go all the 4. So Chicago, New York, Detroit, and I wanted to go LA, but I don't know. Depends. I mean, I don't know. Each one of them is kind of a different vibe though, because I know every area is a little bit different. It would be kind of fun to go to California and go to the LA Auto Show. I think it'll have a different feel and everything.
Yeah.
But
so, and the other part of that is it's been good this year to go and experience them. So then as we progress through the years, or as we keep going towards releasing things, we can go, okay, so last time we saw this at this show, is it worth it to go to this show if we know that it's not a done deal? Because at New York, I think the main thing that we got out of it was we got to ride in a dark horse.
Yeah.
Chicago, first time getting to see the inside of the dark horse.
Yeah.
And then St. Louis, that was the first time seeing it up close. So each one we got to see progressively better, but we could have skipped St. Louis and just gone to Chicago and done a full walk around of inside and outside.
Yeah. Well, and then I felt like the Detroit, it was really fun. Not only did they get to see the 24s, but we got to see Bronco Sport freewheeling and the black appearance package, which the black appearance package impressed me, because they're things that you can't see online, but they also had those at the that show, or the thing, the whatever it is down in Detroit too. They had those there, and it was like,
so I feel like Detroit has a lot to offer when it comes to new, because that's where they like to premiere things. That's
in the past,
that's their hometown. So that's where they like to premiere things.
Yeah.
Chicago,
it's usually the first show of the year, so a lot of times
the first big show. So they'll do something. And then New York wasn't as memorable.
Well, here's the thing. For Chicago, will the 25 Explorer be revealed at Chicago? I don't know. I
mean, we saw the Escape for the first time in Chicago, right?
Yeah, 23.
So we got to see the first 23, the refresh in Chicago. So Chicago might be a good one to go to. New York seems iffy. Detroit's definitely probably a good one if they're releasing something. So.
Well, and I think what we're seeing with Ford too is that even in Detroit, they had two reveals. The GTD, the GTD was already revealed at some golf tournament, Pebble Beach, and then also the 24 F-150, but they did not reveal on stage at the show. They revealed it on their own, spent a lot of money to have a big deal, have country singers come in and everything else to do a big reveal offsite. It seems like to me that's what Ford's doing now, is saying, hey, we don't need the auto shows to do a reveal. We're doing them because they did a lot of reveals during COVID and such. And so they learned from those that, hey, between social media, YouTube, and everything else, we can have big reveals without having to do them at the auto shows anymore.
Like we saw them do the Dark Horse R and the other, the other Dark Horse packages releases.
Yeah.
They don't need to do it.
The only problem with that is because we're not technically media, we don't get invited to those media reveals. Yeah. When they do it that way, if it's not at the auto show, we don't get it.
They see us as a dealer and not media.
Yep.
And we're trying to be seen as media, not dealer.
I can't get on their media list to get information ahead of time. So unless I know it's coming, like I did with the Maverick, they gave me information ahead of time for that because we knew we were big for Maverick, but I have to know it's coming. If I don't know they're about to reveal something, but I just heard they're going to reveal something, we don't get it.
We're dead in the water.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it might be prudent to go to LA and check it out, see the vibe, see if it's worth it for a year after year or occasional. But
I don't know.
At the same time, are they going to reveal something? So
what's left to reveal? The T3. Who knows when they're going to reveal that?
Yeah.
Explorer at some point.
Yeah.
But we've already seen Explorer driving around on roads. Yeah. Spy photos. We kind of know what it's going to look like.
So.
Oh, well. Anyway.
We'll
see.
Is this the final week of 23 Maverick production? I read that somewhere.
Yes, it is. The 19th is the first day they start making the 24. Or 8.
Yeah.
18, something like that.
Yeah. My Maverick 10.6 built week got changed to 10.30. Is that normal? I actually did see one of our members. We track their orders. I did see one that went from 10.16 over to 10.30. So I have seen that happen.
And I've seen some others come back.
Yes.
move
So
forward.
they're moving them to what they expect to be able to build, and so they may schedule and then go, oh wait, we won't be getting that, or we need to hold off on that for a minute. So
Yeah.
it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any questions? Next question.
That was the last one I had.
Okay.
Auto shows are an experience. I mean, we went to see the
I
Pennsylvania
enjoy
show
'em.
this year. That was an experience that I really enjoyed. But would I go to it this year? It's up in the air. Do we need to take a week long to go down there and see it and then come back?
I really do, and I do really enjoy them. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And going with media passes, you do get early access when there's not so many people. The only thing I don't like about Detroit is you get like a half a day as media before it gets flooded with industry people. So, which is still less than public, but still makes it difficult. Get as much content in the morning as you can, because the afternoon there's going to be other people that are getting in your way, and I really say they do get in the way, because I mean, usually, you see somebody, you're walking along and you see somebody with a camera pointing somewhere. You're like, oh wait, let me get out of the picture. You're trying. No, they didn't do that. Half these people were just like, they didn't care. They'd look at you and go, oh, okay, and they just walk right between you. It's like, really?
So this is our last question. What trim do you have for your Bronco?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben?
That's right. Big Ben, but it doesn't look like it.
Big Ben.
Had fun with that one. A few times you walked off to go do something, and people in Colorado would come up and go, so what's he done to this? I'm like, well, it's a Big Ben to start off with, and he's added the Roush package, which comes with the tires and the rims. And they're like, so wait, he took a Big Ben and he camouflaged it. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Because it's got the grill from the Black Diamond, the rock rails from, that you get on Black Diamond or Badlands. Yeah, because since I took off the Big Ben, actually the Big Ben sticker is on the back window. Yeah, that's the thing is, you can take any of these Broncos and
make them your own.
Make sure you add a rear locker, but at that point you can put 35s on them and you can go anywhere you want to with these. We did a lot of fun stuff in Colorado. They're so capable. You don't need all the other stuff. And so I did see somebody on Bronco 6G that added 360-degree camera to their vehicle and integrated into the screen. So I guess there's a plug-in you can do. I'm wondering if, I don't know. Interesting. I just want, but I don't think you can, like, if you're driving like on the trail, you can choose to click on the front camera. Like you can, like, because I know on like Badlands and some of those, when you go with the front camera, when you go into four low, it automatically kicks that front camera on for you. But anyway, oh well.
Yeah. All right, we don't have really any more questions. It's
all right.
9:30.
Yep, getting late. All right.
I think it's time to head out.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for all the questions. Great. If you have a topic that you'd like us to cover and talk about as part of the On My Mind segment, send them to us. Let us know.
Good dealer moments, please.
Good dealer moments as well. Need to get those. And
not just for Maverick. Bronco, Lightning, Mach-e, any model.
Yep.
Any Ford good dealers.
Yep. We cover them all here. There you go.
My favorite trip of the year, Colorado.
That was a lot of fun.
Colorado, and then Pennsylvania after that, because I got to take Lebo and the kids. I have a sneaking suspicion that Vegas is going to sneak up over Pennsylvania.
Carlisle was a lot of fun.
Just because it's my first time going.
Yeah.
New York was fun, but.
Well, the hard part with SEMA is that it's right on during Halloween. And if you have kids, you have grandkids, like for me, I actually almost stayed for one more day, but then I would miss Halloween with the grandkids. And SEMA
Yeah.
just needs to think that through because they can't be doing that, during that time. I
can't
think
keep
next
doing
year,
it.
it's the 31st through whatever.
Mm.
But and really, I think they're looking at their media stuff. They don't really have a lot of they don't do they say, hey, media gets in over the weekend. And actually, if you look at one place on there, it actually says media doesn't. There's not actual media days, but yet it doesn't open to the public till the third or till the dealers till the 31st. But there is on the 30th that you can get. So I think we can still get in. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, we're coming back the morning of the 31st, early morning. So hopefully we get content on the 30th and people are open and everything because that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I might have to delay my flight, but because I hate to spend the money we're spending to go there for not getting
enough
because
content.
that'd be a lot of fun builds and stuff to see.
I wish we could get Levo in
So.
this cameraman.
Anyway,
And we have a cameraman.
yeah. Well, and SEMA's not the. I mean,
It's
it
not
doesn't
like
take
the
too much,
others.
but yeah, it's not like the others where I can just say, hey, I need to just add this person's name. It's not like that. You actually have to
Have them in
you have
videos
to
or written
go
articles. or
through like
something.
30 minutes of putting in all the stuff and everything. But all right, I think that's it for tonight.
Yes.
All right. So with that in mind, go back up here so we can end this. Right. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Anything else? Nothing?
No.
All right. Until next week, don't forget to stay positive, be kind to one another,
And be kind yourselves.
We'll see you later.